Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back. Manchester United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. A really disappointing and frustrating game today. I thought Tottenham Hotspur were well in the game. I thought we were well in the game for the most part in the first half. I thought Manchester United started the game slightly better than Tottenham. Tottenham got a foothold into it and then looked fairly decent. By the time the Romero sending off happened, I thought it was 50-50, maybe a slight edge towards United. The only thing very impressive about United was their willingness to hit the ball from distance. But ultimately, those sorts of things don't necessitate outcomes all the time that are going to generate the best XG. That's the whole rule of the XG. And that's the reason why most teams are put off the idea of doing it. What we're going to do today is a fan phone-in show, one at a time. I'm going to put the link. I'm going to post the link in the chat, guys. And I need me to put it in there now. Come on and join. Have your say. It's going to be first come, first served. As I say, rules on the on the streaming are cameras on, guys. And one at a time. Will be 10 minutes or however long, depending on how many people are here. But just quickly, my take on the game was that we were let down by Captain Bozo. I genuinely thought that Romero today. I actually had a bet on Romero because I thought that he was going to utilise the support that he had from his fan base, from the fan base generally. 90% of Tottenham fans this week have been right behind him for what he said about the football club. You know how I felt about it. I felt like he was bringing unnecessary pressure, unnecessary stress, unnecessary levels of exposure to what is already clearly a shit show at the football club. There's no denying that. There is no denying that. But I felt like if you're going to say those sorts of things, then at least make sure that your own house is in order before you start throwing stones. And I had a bet that Christian Romero would score a goal today. That's the sort of, I back the man. If you say those sorts of things, you step up, you stand up, you own it, and you show exactly what it is that you're talking about. Did he do that? No, he didn't. What did he do instead? The entire opposite. I know a lot of you are going to have your say. I can already see there's about 10, 15 people climbing into the chat here for a word. I'm excited to hear everyone's take on it. But for me, a red card all day long. Intent doesn't necessitate whether he had his eye on the ball or otherwise. We've seen this before with him. It's his second red card of the season. And I think he spoiled what could have been a game that was 50-50, in flux, in balance. Manchester United are not a fantastic team. They're a team that is shooting from distance because that's the way that Michael Carrick grew up playing football in an era where those sorts of things were celebrated. You can have all the shots outside the distance, outside the box that you want. They weren't getting past Vicario today. We conceded because we were 1-0 down. We conceded also because Thomas Frank, this is where I will criticise and critique Thomas Frank. In the micro, I think Thomas Frank has done better this season with his... in the last month, I think he has done better with his... with the way that we've sort of approached football. However, today, I have to say, I think that he did the same things he's done before. He's abdicated the tactics to defend the edge of the box. Now, you could make the argument that it was more difficult to defend the edge of the box because of the fact we were down to 10 men. I don't think so. I think it was a very cleverly worked, well-worked free kick by Manchester United that saw the weaknesses in Tottenham from their watching of the tape. And I also think that... in the second half, when we were pushing men forward, when we finally got those opportunities to break through, really nice movements and nice efforts from the players that were on the pitch, like Xavi Simons, what a player he is going to be. If we can build a team around him and players like Polinia, in the short term at least, I think there's reasons to be positive. But to me today, the entire game was completely sidetracked into a different path of reality because of one decision and one decision only, and it was our captain. And this is not coming from an agenda perspective. I'm just judging on the micro. After saying what you said, you have to make sure that you put in a flawless performance to continue to have the support of people around you. And I really think that today he let himself down. I think he let the club down. And he's now out for 4 games. He misses Newcastle. He misses Arsenal. Not sure after that who it is. Is it Forest and Liverpool soon? Because it's his second red card of the season. I'm really frustrated with him. I'm also frustrated with the way that the team was set up. But actually, I thought the 10 players that were on the pitch for the most part, guys, were I think they battled well given the circumstances away from home. As I say, Manchester United are not a terrifying prospect. They really aren't. Anyway, please do smash the like button, smash the subscribe. The link is the link is pinged. That's not the phrase. Pinned. That's the phrase. The link is pinned, and we're going to get everybody on now, one by one, and see how everyone's feeling. So let's bring on the first guest, and let's go for it. Hugo, what, my man? How are you, buddy? Welcome to the show. How you doing, boss?
Morning, mate. I was much better when I woke up.
Yeah. What was your thoughts, mate? 2-0.
I mean,
yeah.
Mate, I was just, when I was like during the first half before, Romero did another, just absolute idiotic challenge. I honestly felt like we were right in the game. I thought Xavi was looking exceptional. He was pulling all the strings, finding all the space, linking up the play. He was looking superb. And then, yet again, arguably in a game where we, really needed him most, it's just another ridiculous. I don't know if it's a loss of concentration. I don't know if it's just because he's just an absolute idiot and has the IQ of a breadbasket. I don't know what the malfunction is. But I mean, yeah, who knows? Yeah, maybe we might have still lost the game, or maybe not. Maybe we might have, got a point. Maybe we might have, won the game. Who the heck knows? But this guy, man, he's a liability. 6 red cards now since he joined us. 2 this season.
Did you support his behaviour during the week?
I supported. Put it like this: if he wasn't captain and meant to be the one that was setting the tone, especially given how young the team is, I wouldn't have had so much of an issue with it. However, because he is the captain, he is meant to be the one that is leading the way. I just feel like, he had no business airing dirty laundry in public.
Right.
The club already looks like a shit show. We don't need our captain to come up and double down.
100%. That was my take. I don't disagree with him saying him feeling the way he feels. Clearly, he's ambitious. Clearly, he feels frustrated by a lot of the way that the club operates. Clearly, there's probably some merit to him previously talking about lies a month ago.
Yep.
I think he's made his manager look like a donut.
Well, I don't think Romero had to do that.
Well, no, but the manager said last time, you made a mistake, don't make the same mistake twice.
Right. Yeah.
And he's done it, which is embarrassing for Thomas Frank, right?
Yeah, but I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think that Romero has the slightest bit of respect for Thomas Frank at all.
Yeah.
And apart from anything else, if you're not going to set the tone, if a player, does something really stupid, and all you do is, sit him down for a strong talk, they're just gonna, if it's the same thing. It's like, rinse and repeat. If you're not gonna actually hold the guy accountable, and if he steps out of line, he suffers financially, he doesn't play, etc. I mean, he's taken care of the not playing bit himself, to be fair, but not in any kind of shape, way, or form that helps us. As far as the game's concerned,
yeah. Did you think that first of all, was it a red card? I haven't actually asked you.
All day, mate. All day, and twice on Sunday. Look at the challenge. It caught him halfway up his ankle on the inside, both feet, studs up, forceful, clearly reckless and dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Yeah, I understand that, there's inconsistencies in refereeing and that other, players have made poor challenges that have only been, gotten yellow cards. That's the problem with inconsistencies in the refereeing, right? But for anybody who has any sort of grasp of football,
impartiality. If you're impartial, that's a red card, right? In my
it
opinion,
is. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm Spurs through and through. It doesn't change the fact it's a red card.
Did the referee have a good game apart from that?
I have an agenda with Michael Oliver anyway. I think he's abysmal. I think he's arrogant. I think he thinks that his shit doesn't stink. And 9 times out of 10, we get screwed by Oliver whenever he refs us.
Did you think there was a penalty for Tottenham in the first?
Yeah, I watched
when Solanke gets thrown over.
Solanke down.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it went to VAR, did it? Or there wasn't any feedback.
They say everything's checked, but the commentary team just, they didn't even mention I was listening to was just embarrassing. That Peter Drury.
Well, mate, that's the other thing about the commentary, right? Is it would be so nice to have an impartial commentary team. Half of the time it's if it's not Lee Dixon, thriving on the fact that Tottenham are, struggling, being shit, whatever, then, it's some other idiot like Ali McCoist, throwing in his 2 cents about, why Tottenham are shit. We know we're shit. We don't need to have it shoved down our throats on the regular. It's embarrassing enough, let alone when our captain does something which is just beyond stupidity.
Yeah.
It'd be so nice, mate, just to have just an impartial, punditry would be a treat.
Did you, in terms of the setup today? Obviously, we played it looked like it was a back 4, obviously, back 5 out of possession, but back 4. You already mentioned Xavi Simons putting a good shot. I love Xavi Simons. I'm falling in love with the guy. I think he's someone that you bring in, that you build a team around.
Yeah, whether we do that or not, we've had these kind of players before, and as opposed to building around them, it's just it's continued not to happen, right? Which is why, I mean, who knows what this summer's going to look like with the World Cup and everything else. We have all of the club PR spin always that would have us believe that, it's going to be our window. It's going to be our window. We're going to, like, push comes to shove, there's always another excuse as to why, we couldn't get the best players out there because, oddly enough, we're not high enough in the pecking order, don't pay enough weekly money, and so on. It's just beyond frustrating at the moment. And I think at some stage we just have to realize that we are, for the next few years at least, unless another manager can come in and be a Pochettino who can style, doesn't necessarily have to be him, but someone that can grow the youngsters into the players that we can't get in.
Yeah. But what about Sousa? Do you like Sousa this afternoon, mate? I thought he looked pretty handy, didn't he, when he came on? Not, or at least not intimidated by the occasion. I know.
He was. I mean, I saw him. When he was a couple of times when he got to stretch his legs down the wing and stuff. Yeah, he doesn't appear, just in awe of the occasion and so on.
Yeah.
Gutted again to see Udogie go down. I mean, who knows how long.
What do we do with Udogie, mate? Do we sell him in the summer if we can? The guy can't stay fit, can he?
No, I mean, it's it's another situation. I mean, it's rinse and repeat seemingly at left back, isn't it? When we had what's his name, English kid that's came from Fulham and went back to Fulham. Why can't I get the name in my head? Left back and had world of hamstring injuries.
The guy went to Fulham. Came from Fulham, went to Fulham. Yeah,
That's
back
it,
to
yeah.
Fulham. And he's fully fit ever since he's gone back to Fulham.
Well, yeah, after we paid for him to have like the full-on surgery and the rehab and everything else, they're like, all right, off you go now.
Yeah.
What's the kid's name?
I can't think his name. Sessegnon.
No. There you go. Thank you, Ryan Sessegnon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems to be. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Udogie is way more talented and a much better player than Sessegnon ever was or can be. But it's the same principle that if you're not available, you're not much use.
Yeah. How do you listen? I mean, overall though today 2-0. It was. Did you feel like Tottenham were ever in the game, even though down to 10 men? Did you think there was a chance there in the second half to get back into
I
it?
thought if we could have set up to have at least tried to get some more set pieces, that looked like our best hope of getting a goal, to be honest with you.
Did we have a corner in the game? I don't think we had a corner, did we?
I don't remember one, no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which then again, I'm just like, we have supposedly all of these specialists and backroom staff and all that jazz about whatever else. I'm like, well, if you've been, practicing half of the goals, and the stats will tell you like the amount of goals we've scored from set pieces, how's about get us some set pieces?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know, mate. I thought again, like,
any positives, Hugo? Conor Gallagher. I like Conor Gallagher. I think he's showing something.
Yeah, loads of industry. He's clearly getting his feet back under him and getting up to speed in the Premiership again, I would say. Speaking of Conor Gallagher, I think I'd probably slap the armband on him if I had the opportunity. I'd just be like,
people stepping up for it. Micky van der Ven, Polinia, Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, but I think you want someone.
Xavi Simons, by the way. I think Xavi Simons shows more leadership in his tenacity and fight, even though he's a little fella.
Yeah, I would. The only reason I say Gallagher is, we've just signed him. He's been a captain before. He, then we wouldn't have to. You've got Micky van der Ven, who's, let's say he was captain, you've got all of the sort of speculation that's out there about whether he may or may not be looking to go elsewhere, all of that kind of jazz. And I just don't want our captain to be someone that's flirting with, going elsewhere or whatever else. I'd rather it be, do you know what? Like, I'm Spurs, I'm here for the next X amount of years and, have the continuity. I think we've already got we're already too much of a shit show. We don't want another, pass the armband on to Micky and then it's like, okay, he's off again, just like pass the parcel at that stage. Yeah. I think we need a good captain. I think as well with Gallagher being in the middle of the midfield,
Yeah, it helps.
Seemingly, touch wood, someone that can hopefully stay fit. That's the other problem I feel with like Paulinho is I worry about if he's going to be able to stay fit for every game. So if you give him the armband, does that mean that he's going to be captain but sitting on the bench? Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. So that's why for continuity and, just for general kind of resilience, I think I'd probably have Gallagher out there as captain. And he's at the age as well where, provided everything goes okay, he could be captain for 4 years.
I hear you, mate. I hear you. Hugo, mate, thank you so much. There's 15 people waiting, mate. So I've got to move on, mate. Appreciate you so much, Hugo. Love you, my man.
No problem. Take it easy.
Take care.
Bye, mate.
Cheers, Hugo. All right, guys, let's bring in Sabah. Sabah, how you doing, my man? Good to see you. What are your thoughts, bud?
I'm good, man. I've got 5 minutes. but
I appreciate you coming on. Romero, mate, tell me, talk to me.
Look, Sean, I think me and you are two people who have been very much up and down with Romero, and I've seen nothing different from Romero today than I've seen for the last 4.5 years.
Yeah,
this guy is on his day. He's brilliant. When he doesn't want to be on it, he's not on it. And in the first 10 minutes of the game, we saw him run into midfield and clatter someone. And I'm like, oh no, it's going to be one of those games. And then 20 minutes later, it's going through somebody, studs up, sent off. And isn't it ironic? All this week we've heard, oh, he's one of us. He's a leader. He's a winner. He doesn't like the situation. So Romero complains about us having, 12, 13 players fit. Yeah. And has now contributed to us now having less players available because he's out for 4 games.
4 games.
Because he's stupid.
The equivalent of a hamstring injury.
Mate, you think it's a good job. It's a good job the transfer window's still open, right? Because you've just lost Destiny Udogie again. Right? Romero's out for 4 games.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest though, Sean, I'm not bothered that Romero's actually missing. I actually think that when Dragoshin and Danso come in, I'm not sure what it is that Romero does as a defender that is so much better than these guys. I get it with the passing.
Yeah.
Right. I get that side of it. But as an actual defender, I don't see the clamour for Romero. I think he's a head case. I think he's gone every game.
Did you think that the game was in flux at the time when it happened? Or did you think that United were the dominant team?
No, I thought it was a real. Do you know what? I thought it was a really good Premier League game. Little bit open from both sides, but we were going forward. They were going forward. I thought you could clearly see our game plan in the first half. We were winning most of the first and second balls in the middle with Sarr, Paulinho, and Gallagher, getting it into Solanke, and then getting Odegaard, Gallagher, and Simmons in and around Solanke. I thought it was working well. I thought that we were in the game, and that killed it. Right? You can't play an hour with 10 men away from home. You can't.
Yeah. Let me ask you this though. Second half.
Yeah,
I said it in the stream. I said I feel like if we can get through to half time 1-0 down, we're still in the game. Things can change, right? You've got to sit tight at the start. They're going to come out, look for the second goal, sit in, be compact, and then with about 25 minutes to go, then you've got to throw some caution to the wind and go for it. When we did that, it was kind of the way I thought it was going to be. Xavi Simons does really well to win the ball back in a tough duel with, I think it was Casemiro, or might have been Mainu, I forget. Wins the ball. And then he looks up, and you've already got Conor Gallagher, who I think Conor Gallagher is looking really constructive. I'm quite enjoying watching him, what he can do. And you have Solanke, but because of the shape of play, they're all in the same zone. They're all over on the left-hand side. And he's looking up, looking for support. And Pape Sarr and Paulinho stop on the halfway line. And that just rings back to what we were doing in November, October, and September. Now, this isn't... Listen, I know that today, for me, the plan goes out the window when you go down to 10 men. But I felt like, at that point, those guys were staying there by design, and then it was only when the ball went out of play, the camera points to Thomas Frank, and Thomas Frank's going like, "Come on, get forward!" And it felt like that was obviously they were engaged in a pre-game tactic based on 11 men, and they hadn't updated the tactic. And Sarr and Paulinho were just waiting back, and I felt like that to me was a little bit of a frustration from Thomas Frank this morning that he didn't update them at half time. That you've got to throw a bit more caution in the second half.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one, right? Because everyone's saying throw caution to the wind. If you throw caution to the wind, United are phenomenal on the counter-attack. With Mbuemo, Cunha, it's a tough one, right? You go for it and you lose. People say they'd be happy with that, Sean. You know they wouldn't, right? Let's be fair. We all say that. Throw caution to the wind. Look, it's frustrating, right? I felt sorry for Odegaard, but you know, Odegaard, someone who
he didn't do anything in the first 30 minutes, though, did he?
No,
he was irrelevant.
He didn't. But it's always difficult when you're the man that gets, when you're the sacrificial lamb. It's very, very difficult. Sure. Look, I think it was right. I think the second half it was right. Let's stay in this game. Let's see if you can nick something towards the end. But let's be fair. The pressure Man United applied in that second half. You know, chance after chance after chance. Vicario had one of his better games apart from giving the ball away once. You know, Gray started to be pulled all out of all sorts of positions in that second half. It showed that he wasn't a right back. And you're ending the game, Sean, with Dragoshin, who's been out injured for a year, right? Gray, who's not a right back, and Sosa, who's making his debut at left back. And
what do you think of him? He did it right, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't want to judge him based on playing against 11 v Man U and that. I thought he came in and, but. Look, at the end of the day, Sean, I won't keep it too long. I know you've got guests waiting in the background. I just think that when your captain does that after all of his latest messages and all of he's the martyr and he's the guy that wants to, we've got to show him that we're ambitious. Sorry, first and foremost, you're the captain of this football club. Yeah. Can you please lead on the pitch?
Mate, the PR about him tomorrow, tonight, Talk Sports, Sky Sports, TNT, everyone that isn't a Tottenham fan that already has an agenda about the ownership and therefore want to support anyone, no matter whether or not it's really right or wrong to do, they're sort of blind to the context of whether it makes the club look more like a shit show than it already is. Those people will stand true. But everybody else, the impartial media, or maybe not the impartial, but the media that want something to talk about, are going to bury him
Yep.
because there wasn't a single impartial media member that said he's right to say what he said. They all went after him and said he needs to shut his mouth. And then now, after doing that today, I mean, it's catastrophic for the PR around Romero, isn't it? What happened today?
Yeah. I think for me, I said it to you earlier in this week. I wouldn't mind if he was being immaculate on the pitch week in, week out and leading by example. Sure. I wouldn't mind if he was in good form. I don't mean the goals. Scoring goals is great, but I wouldn't mind if he was on point, leading by example, not doing silly things, not going down. You watch how many big games he's been sent off in, right? Man City, Milan, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United. Like this guy up there, first of all, he is not a leader. I don't care. Yes, he's a winner and he's won the World Cup. This is not a leader of men. And you are right, Sean. The PR surrounding this guy now
is horrendous.
Look,
horrendous.
If he doesn't want to be here, mate, move him on. If you do not want to be here, move on. But you cannot.
Don't you think, though, Sabah, that part of the reason why he's doing what he's doing is because he tried it last year, but Atletico Madrid wanted him, but they couldn't afford the 50 million or whatever it was that the asking price was. And so it's just rinse and repeat of the same tactic to piss the club off, where the club say this guy's too much trouble. And it feels like it's something that's like it's an angle from his agency, from people that he's talking to, from clubs that are interested. And this sort of thing for me, that no one came in for him last year. There was no Real Madrid bid, there was no Liverpool bid, there was no City bid. You know, I don't even rate. I think that Mark Gahey's overrated, but Manchester City would rather have Gahey than Romero all day long. And I don't know any fan who's not a Tottenham fan that rates Romero as highly as Tottenham fans rate Romero.
Mate, we've always had this chat. Christian Romero on his day is brilliant, right? But we have now seen him. It's his fifth season at Tottenham Hotspur.
It's 6 sendings off, yeah.
6, right? Now, it's not even the sendings off that I'm worried about, right? Players get sent off, but it's the nature that he's not learning from them, right? Mm-hmm. My worry is that he's clearly a good footballer. He's clearly a good defender, but this has now been Frank, Ange, Conte, Nuno, that this guy does this, Sean. Mm-hmm. His performances are like this. He's not mature.
You can't have a captain that's volatile, in my opinion.
No, he's volatile. He's saying whatever he wants in the media. And I get that. Don't get me wrong, right? Because of the hate towards ENIC, it's kind of put him on a pedestal that, oh my God, look what he said. What a genius. For me, I'd prefer don't say anything. Don't do these things you're doing on the football pitch, like against Liverpool, like against Man United. We're in trouble, Christian. We've got hardly any players fit and available, right? We've got a game coming up midweek this week against Newcastle. Yeah. And now you've left us short again. So for me, you're right. I don't see. I whenever I speak to my mates, right, not YouTube mates, but like whenever I speak to my mates, none of them, when talking about top centre backs, none of them mention Romero. We do as Spurs.
We do. We do.
None of them do. When they talk about the Ruben Diaz's and the Salibas and these, none of them talk about Christian Romero. Mm-hmm. And it's not that he's not good, but I think our fans, a lot of them are putting him on this kind of Ledley King, Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen kind of level. And if you're that good, Sean, you don't make this many. You do not make this many bozo tackles, this many mistakes.
It's not like they're in games when you're already 3-0 up. It's in the crunch games against AC Milan in the Champions League second leg, against Chelsea in the game where we ended up with 9 men. It's obviously today, like big games, big game moments. He either steps up and scores a header and a worldie, or he completely fucks the team. And that's not that's too volatile to like give the guy an armband for, you know.
How can you come out and call out the owners, and in the very same week you then go and let the team down like that? And people are going, oh, the ref. Listen, whatever I thought of the ref's performance today, that's a red card, right? Yeah. That is a red card.
Did you think there was a penalty shout in the first 10 minutes on Solanke?
Yeah, it's soft, but could have been. My worry isn't any of that. My worry is control what you can control. I can't control if the ref gives a penalty. But
Sure.
Romero, as the captain and the leader, can control that he doesn't need to do that. And again, it will get construed as Romero hate. I don't hate Romero, but he comes out giving it the Bertie big bollocks, doesn't he? About, I need to see this and this isn't happening at Spurs. And it's like, hang on, mate. Could you actually just perform on the pitch first?
Mate, people in the chat were saying, Sean, you wouldn't be saying that's a red card if you didn't hate Romero. You wouldn't be, and it wouldn't have been a red card if that had been Maguire on Xavi, or on Xavi Simons. And I was like, yeah, but if that's the case, then that's because a stereotype exists, right? He has built a reputation for doing that sort of thing, especially against Brazilian players, by the way. He does go in extraordinarily hard and aggressively on Brazilian players. I don't know. Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like,
but people don't want the truth and honesty. I don't have an agenda against Romero. I've said the same thing for 4.5, 5 years about him. He's good, but he's not this guy that everyone puts on this pedestal. If you cannot, over the space of 5 years, if you cannot sort out that temper, if you cannot learn, right, what you can get away with, if you cannot take the armband and lead by example, then I feel like I'm completely justified what I've said about this guy for 5 years. I've seen nothing for him to get the credit that he gets. Like, he gets such glowing references, but against Liverpool, we're chasing the game, right? We're chasing the game against Liverpool with 10 men, just starting to get the ascendancy, get sent off for nothing. Today, we're doing absolutely fine against Man United, get sent off for absolutely nothing. But people go, oh, you don't like a winner. That's got nothing to do with him being a winner. If he's not on the pitch,
it's micro-analysis. It's micro-analysis. People assume that there's always, like, whatever you're saying is built because of some other agenda. It's not. Like, I've just and I've given Thomas. Last question for you, mate. I know you've got to go. Thomas, did Thomas Frank today? Has today's performance has it augmented your I've got more on board with Thomas Frank over the last month. I think his football's been a little bit more point and purposeful. I'm like, okay, given the circumstances of what the other options are, etc., let's give him more time. Has today changed anything for you, or was the entire game state completely thrown out because of what happened in the 30th minute?
As I said, I thought there was nothing wrong with how we were set up. There was nothing wrong with how we were getting forward. I thought Xavi Simons was getting on the ball brilliantly first half, and left, right, centre. He was picking it up, dictating, trying to play through balls. The players are clearly playing for him. I thought we looked good. We looked, obviously there were moments. Don't expect we'd be brilliant. I don't think there was anything wrong with the way we played in the first half an hour. Today hasn't changed anything for me. I'm still of the same opinion with Spurs. We need to get players back, and very, very quick.
Yeah.
We had a shambolic transfer window where we did not help. Forget Frank, we just didn't help the football player. We didn't, Gallagher, Paulinho, Solanke, these boys are not 100% fit and running through brick walls at the moment.
Yeah.
They were absolutely shattered.
I thought the 10 men that were on the pitch for the majority of that game, I give them all a massive pat on the back. I thought they did their best in a really difficult scenario.
I'll ask you this, Sean. If this game, right, if this game wasn't in the midst of a bad run in the league, I don't think too much notice would go to the manager. But because this game has happened part of that bad run, look, as soon as he got sent off, right, as soon as Romero got that red card, I just went, oh, God, he's killed the game. You're playing an informed Man United with lots of good forwards that score goals at Old Trafford with 10 men. You think,
nightmare. Yeah, I don't blame Thomas Frank for it at all. But there's little part like the goal that we conceded, the edge of the box thing. That's again, those sorts of things need to be ironed out. Whether you have 11 men or 10 men, those things are not going to change. That was a well worked set piece move from Carrick, and we were sloppy and sleepy. I also think that Manchester United look prettier than they are because they're happy to have their banging shots from 30 yards all day long. And most of those, there's a reason why most other teams managers say don't do that because the XG is low. If you've got a decent shot stopper, it looks like they dominated us but most of their shots were from 25 yards, and it takes a worldie to get past that. So I'm not that impressed with all that shit, to be honest. It looks nice, but it doesn't really have that much of an impact. But overall, I think that the 10 that were on the pitch were pretty impressive. Romero screwed us, and then just again sloppiness in moments that could be corrected with better preparation on the training ground with how to defend the outside of the box. You know,
I'll tell you, just before I go, the one thing I'll say is, thank God Radu Dragashin's back fit. Thank God he is back fit.
Yeah.
And unless Spence is fit for midweek, we go into the game with the only fullback available at this football club is Sosa, at the age of 19 from Brazil.
Baptism of fire for the guy, mate. And I thought he was feisty. I know it's a little short sort of thing, but I didn't think I felt, you know, when he had the chance, he got forward. When he tried to get back, he handled Ahmad as best he could. Good luck to him. He's got a baptism of fire. Sabah, thank you for coming on, my man. I really appreciate it.
Very last thing, just really quickly before I go, what I will say is this. I'll say fair play today to Sarr, Gallagher and Paulinho. I thought they put in one hell of a shift in that midfield, and Solanke's running as well. I know Sarr's not the greatest on the ball, and I know some of the hold-up play was tough today for Solanke, but they absolutely ran through brick walls today. And look, we go, what is it, Wednesday or Tuesday we play?
Soon.
And again, we're going to be going into that game, Sean, with what? We're going to have like 2 senior pros on the bench again. It's anyway, look, enjoy the game. Do you know what? I'm going out with the lads today. Apparently there's some egg chasing at 5 p.m. or something that I'll drink beer and tolerate it. And
can I come?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Send me the pub. I'll be there in a couple of hours.
What I will say is this. Scotty Parker, please. Scott Parker and Burnley, we need a favour today.
You, mate. We need you.
Yeah. Hello to everyone in the chat. Even the trolls calling me a dickhead. Thank you. Love you too. Take care.
Appreciate you, mate. Love you, Sav. Thanks for the video, mate. Appreciate you, mate. Take care, buddy. Appreciate him. Big up, Sav. Oh, I've disappeared. Where have I gone? There I am. Before I bring in Matt, there's some super chats here I want to get through. Big up to you all. Big up to Sabah then. JP, become a new member. Big up to you, JP. I'm pretty sure you were a new member on the previous show. If it's a different JP, either way, appreciate you, mate, very much indeed. Thank you very much. Box Kev, mate, big up to you, mate. Always so generous, Boxy. He says, up until now, I have been giving Romero the benefit of the doubt, but his behavior is a shout from the mountaintop. He doesn't want to be here. Send him packing. Appreciate you, Butler, mate. I appreciate you, Boxy, mate. I appreciate you, mate. Always so generous. And whenever you feel comfortable and confident, mate, you let me know and you can come on the channel, my man, anytime you want, buddy. The link is there. Thank you so much for your ongoing generosity, mate. Legend. Yeah, listen, Romero, for me, let himself down today. Ulrika, Ratatata. Ulrika's put in a super sticker. She's the super sticker queen, and she gets a choo-choo. Big up to you. Ulrika. Thank you very much indeed, mate. Choo-choo to you. Choo-choo to you. We've also got one from Conan that says, was there any doubt he was getting a red today? Oh, I went the other way. I backed him. I put a bet on that he was going to score a goal to shut me up. Instead, he's given me reason to call him out. Monday, if I was there at the Spurs 5 on Monday, I'd be going hard. In fact, I might have to cancel my plans so I can make sure I'm there just to go hard. Big up to you, Conan. Thank you very much. Adam, mate. Adam, big up to you. Score Draw Lock says, what annoys me is that we backed him today after them comments. Well, a lot of you did. 95% of you did. I didn't. He said he lets us down as many times as he saves us. Targeted Brazilian before the game, 100%. My bozo. Listen, I don't rate it. I don't rate him. You know, I think he's a good player. I rate his passing, but captains need to captain. You know, and that was not a captain's performance. Barney, big up to you, my man. He says, big up, Shawnee. Last night's rabbit hole was more pleasant than that. Yeah, last night's rabbit hole was dark, wasn't it? A deep show, dark, horrible show, really. Anyone who thinks Romero cares about this club is beyond delusion. Barney, that's what I agree with you, my man. Like, I think people are reverse engineering their distaste for the ownership to support anyone, no matter their behavior, that parks influence and energy towards that outcome. Rather than reverse engineering from the outcome, let's start with the input. And for me, Romero's fucked it. Big up to you guys. Thank you very much indeed for all of you. Let's bring on the next guest. The order, just so everyone knows, is Matt, then Chop, then Jimbo, then Alan, then Fareed, then Swigs. I know a lot of people try to get in. There's only 10 spots at a time. So the link is still pinned. If you want to come in, there's still space for a couple more. But then if you try and you fail to get in, then you're just going to have to wait until someone drops out. Let's bring Matt in. Big up to you, Matt. How are you, my man? Good to see you.
Hi, mate. You all right?
Good, buddy. Thanks for waiting, mate. How's
no problem.
How's your fit? What's your yeah? Where would you like to start? How about that? I'm stuttering. Where would you like to start?
I think I'm just fed up, mate, to be honest with the whole bloody thing. I think we're getting to that point now, Sean, where it's not even anger as much anymore. It's just frustration, annoyance. I mean, it's 2 wins in 16 now, isn't it, in the Premier League?
Yeah, horrendous.
You know, you just think when's that's got to. I was starting to be positive this morning, you know, maybe we're due a Premier League win at some point, you know, by the law of your sort of averages and things like that. But I don't know, mate. I mean, I think when I first saw the red card, I think when your emotions are high, you think, well, I've seen them given this season, I've seen them not given this season, and the consistency, I don't like. But I think the more you watch it back, it is reckless. He's gone into the inside of his ankle. I mean, it's just bloody stupid, isn't it? And now obviously he misses 4 games, and I do worry about Radu Dragusin at the back, just coming back from an ACL. He's going to have to play pretty much 490 minutes in a row. I mean, because can't see him relying on a Byfield or one of the kids, because I just don't think he's that type of manager. Because he can't afford to really play risk averse as such. He needs points and he needs a performance quick. I mean, in saying that, I actually thought until the red card we were managing them quite well, and I thought we had chances, and it's I mean it's just a frustration, mate, and now we really are down to the bare bones.
Do you look? I think the main topic of today, it doesn't need to be. You can go where you want with it, but I feel like the main topic, of course, is the game state was at 0-0. I felt, I don't know if you agree, but I felt like, I think you did already, but it was in flux, right? And I think a lot of people were making out that this Manchester United team are reborn. Yeah, they're suddenly just an infinitely better team than they were under Ruben Amorim. I don't subscribe to it. I think that their team is very gettable. I think they have a lot of talent. They've got more talent than a lot of teams, but I still think that their movement flatters to deceive. I think Tottenham, we let them have the first few minutes trying to figure out what their methods were.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I felt like there were certain positions on the park that that really stood up today. Like, I think Pape Sarr is very limited in his passing, right? He's incredibly limited, but his ability to intercept the ball following like anticipation and interpretation of what's happening is brilliant. I thought it's pronounced. I thought he picked the ball and took it round players, which is the best way that you get past the man-to-man press, which is how their midfield approached the game. And he sort of got the ball past Casemiro, got the ball past Kobbie Mainoo several times. The limitation in his game is his passing, and I think that sort of thing was again pronounced today. But during that first 30 minutes, yes, you could maybe make the argument that they edged it, but they were shooting from distance. And again, there's a reason why 18 teams in the Premier League don't do that anymore. It's because it might look pretty, but the likelihood is it's not going to score. It takes a worldie to beat a goalie from 25 yards with these balls. So I don't know. I felt like people went into the game fearing Man United. I didn't know why we needed to. But I thought the team itself, played really well. But again, it comes back to, did we lose because of the sending off, or did we lose because we were set up badly? I need to ask you about Romero. I know most of these conversations are going to go in this direction, but Romero for me, I think that's the key. The key concern is people are going to point their finger in which direction they want to. Matt, which way do you point it? Do you point it to Thomas Frank? Do you point it to the injuries, or do you point it to Romero for just an idiot moment?
I mean, it probably is an idiotic moment. Unfortunately, he has them in him. I think you're never going to get it out of him because he's that sort of passionate Argentinian player. I mean, but then again, last season under Ange, I mean, he hardly got yellow card, did he? And he could the calmness in his game was better, and he wasn't as erratic. I wonder if he's just not having this regime now and this manager. To be honest, mate, I don't know if he's got. I think he gets away probably with too much. I mean, it sounds like from what Frank said in his press conference the other day that again it's a little slap on the wrist for a naughty schoolboy, and it's almost like what you're going to do. You're going to give him the carrot or the stick. I mean, maybe he needs the stick, mate, to be perfectly honest, because you can't really keep getting away with this behaviour. I mean, calling out whether I think that's right or wrong. I mean, like you said, I think from a professional point of view, you could do that in-house. I mean, I start to think now he is sort of engineering himself, possibly with a move in the summer. I personally think whatever they've promised him, it's not going to be, and it's not going to happen. And I think he'll probably be done. But yeah, I mean, overall, well, yeah, probably the red card did cost us. But and then you sort of look at Man United's first goal. I mean, why are you leaving Embuemo unmarked in that sort of penalty area where he got enough time just to p-roller a shot? All he's got to do is keep it on target, really, isn't he? And
Yeah.
and he's just steered it in. I mean, the marking should be better for that. I mean, the one thing I would say is I didn't feel like, even when we were 1-0 down, like in parts, that he didn't let that handbrake off him. You know, we lost 2-0 anyway, so you might as well have tried to go at him. There was a chance where Xavi Simons was released free and he was on that left hand side, and then he passed it back rather than forward. Maybe because, like you said, there's not the numbers. There's not the numbers there in the midfield. I mean, I think, like you said, Sarr and Paulinho were told probably not to go forward. Try and hold
listen, that to me was clear in the second half,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
the fact that the second the ball went out of play, the camera pivoted to Thomas Frank, and he was like, "Do this." It felt like at half time they forgot to update the tactics with regards Paulinho and regards Sarr.
Yeah. Well, I mean, getting that stupid whiteboard out as well, man. I mean, come on. Can't you just communicate with your players what they need to do? Why you need to show them a whiteboard with markers on it? I mean, I feel like for me as a player, I'd be like, don't take the piss, mate. I can take instructions on. I don't need you to, like, treat me like a child with counters and markers. It happened. The same happened. There was the game Man United Grimsby, wasn't it? Amorim got his whiteboard out. He started moving the.
I've got no idea why they need to do it. Like, if all you think about all day long is tactics, it's like someone who's like it's like a primary school teacher needing a calculator. Come on now.
Yeah.
Like what we're doing.
They're grown adults and they're grown professional footballers. I'm sure they can take instructions on board, and they don't need to be, just tell them. I think sometimes forceful. I think they'd rather be told and have a forceful sort of conversation. They probably think, oh God, this guy's almost like a PE teacher. This is just a bit embarrassing, really.
Do you think today's performance though? I guess I can see people in the chat actually, and I want the chat to engage on this one. It feels like a lot of people were saying today was on Romero, but obviously Thomas Frank has to live and breathe and die by the decisions that he's made, right? And so, we've learned that he had the opportunity to sign John Duran on transfer. That's got nothing to do with Romero, but he had the opportunity to sign certain players in the transfer window, decided not to.
Yeah.
Obviously, that he therefore is thinking about, I'm here for a long term. I'm here for the long term. I'm for him to sit there and be someone that's clearly, for the most part, in the zeitgeist at least, his job security is in question every single game.
Yeah.
And for him to turn down players that might be better than what we have, but not good enough for what they want, but for him to turn them down, I would assume that means that if he's part of that rejection philosophy, then he thinks that he's here for the long term. And he said that he's felt supported, he's been backed, and that the club haven't really given him any indication there's any worries about his, about his job security. The fact is that after today, we are where we are. We haven't we haven't won in a long time. Is it one win or two wins in like 15?
2 and 16. Yeah.
Even if today's on Romero, does it change his job status? We are right now 6 points as it stands, 7 points behind West Ham. West Ham are 1-0 up against Burnley with 20 minutes played. 18
Somerville scored again.
Yeah. So is Thomas Frank's job security under more pressure tonight because of Romero, or is it because he didn't do better in the window to help himself out of trouble?
I do think Romero's cost him today. I really do. So I watched that first half and I thought we were more than in the game, and I thought we, like you said, made Man United look pretty average, to be honest. And they've got individual quality. All that Michael Carrick's done is freed them up, mate, and told them to get on the front foot and, like you said, start shooting from outside the box, which is more like the Manchester United way. I don't know about you, but I thought the commentary on on TNT Sports Day was shameful, really. I mean,
I
I've
wasn't
never.
listening to it on TNT. I was listening to it on
I mean,
stream.
Ali McCoy, mate, how much do you want a spoon? Anymore, mate? Trying to give Man United praise, it's wild, mate. It's he was. They were so far on their side, and almost rubbing it in how bad we really are. When in reality, when you look at it from a, I suppose you're supposed to be non-biased as a commentator. Yeah, we have been bad and we haven't been great, but I think when you put everything in perspective and think, I mean, that we've got what 11 fit players now, or 10 now, probably. I think you have to put any team would probably, I suppose, struggle with when I look at the injuries, not just the injuries, the actual players that are out. They're not like second team options. I mean, Maddison, Kulu, Berghvall,
Mm.
so many options. Players that can, just give us that little bit of something, or a little bit of depth coming off the bench. Yeah, I mean, I've actually the last few weeks, I agree with you. I have been a bit more impressed with the performance, and I've seen little green shoots of style of play, especially since Solanke's come back. I think he's really helped.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I mean, he's going to be under pressure, isn't he? There's no doubt about it. But I think I've come to the realization that he's here till the end either way, to be perfectly honest, because I don't know who there is, mate. I mean, you can't really you're not going to get Ryan Mason back, are you? I mean, that's not exactly a forward step, is it? I mean, who else is there? I mean, Harry Redknapp, he's 70 something, hasn't been in the game for ages. It's a completely different game to what he probably been used to it, in the past. That all these old managers, the game's taken them. I think the game's moved on, to be perfectly honest. So
Yeah,
I think we're just going to have to scrap for and just hope with these maybe with Romero out and this no sort of maybe he's been a bit of a dickhead behind the scenes, or like his actions or how he acts as a captain. Maybe like Sabah said, having someone like Dragisin in, he might just think this is my chance to.
yeah, but one more injury to a centre back, and we're back down to threadbare
No, we
again.
are. Well, you'll be Byfield at the back most likely.
Yeah. Should have got Viscovic back.
Yeah.
Should have got Viscovic back, mate. That's what we should have done. Listen,
Yeah.
Matt, we've got to have to move on, my man. I appreciate you so much for coming on, buddy. Love you, man. Thanks for coming on. I'll see you on the next one.
Mate.
Yeah.
Speak soon.
Buddy.
Yeah. Cheers,
Appreciate
mate.
you,
Bye.
Big up to Matt. And the next up is the next on the list. I think it's Choppy Cheese next, isn't it? I think it is. It is Choppy Cheese. Big up to Chop Cheese. How are you, my man? Good to see you.
I'm good, my man. How you doing?
Yeah, good, buddy. Good. Well, I mean, I'm sad. I thought.
Don't be sad. Don't be sad.
Don't be sad. Tell me why I shouldn't be sad, Chop.
I'm gonna tell you why I shouldn't be sad. I like to look at life as balance. Balance is one of the most important words in life. Can't be too up, can't be too down. Here's the thing. If your team wins all the time, like I'm French, my mother's from Paris, so I root for PSG. My family in Paris, they love PSG. PSG, I don't love watching them as much as Spurs because PSG, they just run through the French league every year. Even though this year they're in competition with Lens. Lens is keeping up with them. But when you're always winning, when you have it all, sometimes it takes the luster out of it. It takes, it's good to have something to fight for. It'll make it that much sweeter when we win. Like when we won last year, the Europa League. How sweet was it? Because we haven't tasted it in so long,
Yeah, I hear you. Right. In order to appreciate heaven, you have to know hell, right?
You can't have.
In order to know love, you have to know hate. In order to know, I get it. I hear you.
Exactly. Can't have sunny days without rainy days. So, what I was gonna say was, as far as the game today, I think up until the red card, it was anybody's game. And I bet today on the game, and I actually bet the draw. I thought we were going to get a Desmond today. But that was very much in the cards, the way that game looked. I could see that game being 1-1 if we didn't go down to 10 men. So I think the red card really took it away from us, and especially once they got the goal off of having the red, I think the game was kind of done. Our players, I don't want to shit on the squad too much just because they're dealing with a lot of injuries and they're dealing with a lot of things behind the scenes. So it's easy to say, well, they should always have their heads up. They should always be running, When they gave up that first goal, I feel like heads dropped a little bit, and I don't know if they had the mentality to ever really get back into that game today, as we could see. So I think the red card took it out for us. I do want to say I agree with you that Frank's performances have been getting better lately. And I'm somebody who kind of preaches patience. Unless, it's like adversely terrible. Like if it's so bad that he has to get sacked, I get it. But if we could just stick through the hard times, I feel there might be some sunshine at the end of this dark tunnel that we've been in. And I want to say Solanke has been pretty impressive since he's been back. I don't think Dom Solanke is a terrible striker. I don't think he's Harry. I don't think he's Harry Kane. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's a bad player. Like I think he could be a starting striker for a top 6 team. I think he's got that type of quality. My take on Romero, I want to say, just not a captain type player. He's not a mentality monster like that. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great center back on his day. But because mentally he's not there, I think I've always been taught that sports is 75% mental. Being a mental monster and being smart and understanding how to play with anticipation and be smart and do the right thing in the game constantly is probably the most important thing. And that's where he lacks. So I just don't think he's captain material. Never should have been awarded that, but we do everything we can to keep him. I understand it. But he's a great player. I just don't think he's world class, and I don't think that he's captain material. But definitely a worthy player of being in a top 6 Premier League side, in my opinion.
Which Premier League team would take him?
I think he would start for Chelsea. Chelsea don't have great center backs. Chelsea lead goals.
Possibly.
You know what I mean? Like if he was on, if he was on Chelsea, he'd be starting.
Maybe. Yeah. Fair enough.
Him and
not
Enzo.
Not Liverpool. Not City.
Well, maybe not Liverpool now because they just got Jake. But if they didn't get him and they didn't pull a center back in and they went for Romero would start.
But they didn't come in for him in the summer.
No, I'm not saying would they come in for him. Maybe they see better options. But I'm just saying if you put him on that team before they just got the French kid, then he might have been a starter.
Yeah, possibly because of the injury crisis. But I genuinely, I think that Romero thinks that he's I think Romero thinks because of his international success, I think that he's definitely an ambitious guy. But I think he's overrated in his own head.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think he thinks he's a king, and I'm not saying he's a pauper, but he's probably a prince. I think
I agree.
He's a good player, but he's not. And he lets us down. And after saying that shit in the week, you need to come out and then step up and stand up. And that's why I had a bet on him, because I thought, you know what, he's going to come out. I went after him in the week. I said, I think he's doing it again. This is what Romero does. He's not interested in Tottenham. I was like, you know what, he's going to come and mud me, so I need to go and benefit from this. The only way he's going to mud me is by him scoring a goal. So the other thing happened. He went and mudded himself today. And I think that I'm going to be interested to see all those people that say that he's like the Che Guevara or whatever he's the hero of the people. Is he? Today, I think was an important game. West Ham United, Chop, are 2-0 up. They are 6 points behind us. 7 points behind us tonight. 7 points behind us.
Yeah, they're beating Burnley, huh? Okay.
2-0 with half an hour gone. Yeah, we are in a relegation battle. We have horrendous games coming up. Do you think that Tottenham can get themselves out of trouble? And if so, pitch me why.
Okay. Do I think we can get ourselves out of trouble? Well, I don't know how much trouble we are in right now, let's say, but if West Ham doesn't,
it's like when the police phone you and say, we'd like to welcome you in for a voluntary interview. You don't know why, you don't know why, but you know that there's something that's happened.
Yeah, so you're sweating it. But when I say get us out of trouble, if we get relegated, that would be like, I would be shocked. I would be like, wow, that's crazy. I didn't think like in all my years of supporting Spurs that I would ever see us quite get to relegation. So I don't think we will get relegated. I want to say that. We might be, in a little bit of a fight. We might have to not completely bin off the league like we did last year. They have to focus towards the end of the stretch here. But I don't think we'll get relegated. But what I was going to say was why I don't want to say I think we'll turn things around, because that is assuming like we somehow hit a good stretch of form or we're actually looking good and competent for a little while. The reason why I don't think that might happen as soon as possible is because I think the biggest issue in this club is the injuries. I don't think that should be understated. And I'm actually somebody who was very much so Ange out. And now I want to say I feel like I might have been a little harsh in that take because I really didn't give him too much the benefit of the doubt when it came to injuries because we had most of our creative players, but he was missing a lot of the defense. And
Let you piece on
my
mute.
fault. Yep.
All right.
I really do think that the injuries are the main issue in this club, and I've never seen it so bad the past 3 years. It really started at the end of like Conte's reign, and then it's just always carried on. I mean, if you look at like the injured players we have, you're talking Kudus, Maddison, Kulishevsky, Richalison. Like all our goal threats are barren right now, and we're relying on like the young kids that we kind of wanted to develop. And okay, I don't think Udogie is good enough for right now, and I don't think Tel is good enough for right now, but I do think those guys later on in their careers will be really good players. So, like, they might not hit their prime till they're 22, 23, but that's like 3 years from now or like 2 years from now. So I understand right now it's not good enough, but I want to see those guys be Spurs players through and through so that we reap the actual benefits of them in their prime. But for right now, I think I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
I know it's hypothetical when we talk about squad building because it's not like they're ever going to listen to us or like we're going to make the decisions on how we squad build. But if it was up to you, okay, knowing that you said this earlier, I believe, Kulishevsky's coming back from like a shattered kneecap, and you don't believe he's going to be the same player that he once was. You think he's going to be either half the player he was or a shell of himself, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Maddison is 30 years old, coming off an ACL tear. And I'm also, my profession, I'm an orthotist, so I do body bracing, so I know about injuries and stuff like that. And ACL is for your cruciate ligament is for knee stability. So it really messes with the instability of your kneecap. So knowing things like this, right? Maddison being 30, coming towards the latter years of his career, coming off an ACL injury, Kulu coming off a shattered kneecap. Would you try to get rid of those guys in the summer? Okay, because they're both kind of 10s, except for Kulu. Kulu kind of plays on the right wing as well. But now we have Kudus there, so we really don't have to worry about that as long as Kudus comes back healthy. Would you get rid of Maddison and Kulishevsky? And now you have your primary number 10 is Xavi Simons, okay?
Yeah.
And then I think you would be inclined after that to get a top winger. We need like an electric winger. So
I think you have to. I think you have to shake hands with the reality chop of Udogie is a talented player, but he can't stay fit
I agree.
for 2 weeks. I think you have to cut your losses on him. Unfortunately, I really like him, but he's not available enough. He's always injured. And I think one of Maddison and Kulishevsky need to go, if not both, depending on who comes back and who can stay fit. But the club have to figure that stuff out internally. We won't know. But I look at those three players and think they're cooked.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
But I don't know what money you'll get. I don't know. You right now, if you were trying to sell Maddison, you probably get like 25 million quid for him, and even that would be a punt for whoever takes him off because he's he's damaged goods. Kulishevsky, you're not going to get much more than that either because
I agree.
His knee is cooked. And Udogie, maybe you can get a bit more. But listen, like Sessegnon came to us, spent 6 years on the injury list, and then went off, and he was fine at Fulham. So for me, I think that maybe you can get a bit more for him because he's still young. But I think all three of them could easily justify being released. What's your thoughts?
So my thoughts is how I told you sports 75% mental. I was also told the best ability is availability. If you're not available, then there's no reason in even keeping you on the team if you're going to go down every 3-4 games, especially in European football. The schedules are unlike any other sport. There's so many games. These guys are playing unreal amount of games. And I feel like that could be part of the reason why we have injury problems because a lot of these coaches come in and don't feel like the next guys up are great, and then they overplay players, which leads to injuries. And then it's been a snowball effect because now we have so many injuries, we don't have enough guys to play, and then they're playing all the time. Then those guys get injured, and then this guy comes back, and he's got to play all the time. Just a vicious cycle. Mm-hmm. But that's why I feel like, I hate bringing up Arsenal, but obviously they're the class right now. They're top class. If you look how deep their team is, even though they have their own injury issues, they probably don't get as many injuries because they rotate so much.
Yeah,
so
sure.
It's just a common sense type thing, you know.
It's unfortunately all of these things spiral out of control. When you have fewer players available, you have to ask them to play more, and it increases the likelihood of injuries and these things. They spiral violently out of control. Personally, I think that the league needs to change its rules around squad registrations. I think it needs to change the rules around the January transfer window. I think it also needs to change the rules around squad size, because you're asked to play so many more games, but the squad size rules haven't changed for a long time. It's unrealistic. Listen, Chop, I've got to move on to the next guy, my man. Listen, one last question. Are Tottenham in a relegation battle?
Yeah, but we're favorites to win.
I love that. You've been a glass half full member of the team this evening, man. Well done to you, Chop. I appreciate you, buddy. Enjoy your day, mate. And thanks for coming on, my man, as always. Big up to you.
Take it easy. Cool.
See you, buddy. Big up to Choppy Cheese. Let's bring in the next guy. There we go. And we got a Chris K 99 pence super sticker. Big up to you, Chris. Appreciate you, mate. Choo to you. Choo to you, buddy. Who's next up? Jimbo Dino. Hello, Jimbo. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Hey, Sean. Great to meet you, man. What a guest Chop was, by the way. What a fucking guy.
Yeah, everyone's lovely. Everyone's a legend. Chop's been on before, mate. How's your heart after today, mate? Are you despondent? Are you glass half full? What are you thinking?
Seriously, man, I'm first of all, just wanted to give a shout out to you to say, it's great to see people from around the world come onto the show. I watch the show a lot.
Thanks,
love
mate.
what you do. That to up your ass. But I live in Dubai, and it's hard to kind of get connection with the rest of the fans while you're overseas, expat. So it's lovely to see people like Chop and other people, being so engaged and so wonderfully, articulate in terms of their love for the club and what they see. And I kind of resonate the same things. I forgot what your question was, but for me at least, the glass isn't half empty right now. I think there's massive problems with the ownership. I think there's huge issues with in terms of the recruitment side of the club, obviously. But in terms of performances, today was a bad result. Yes, I get that. Was it a bad performance? No, outside of Romero's red card, which that happens in football. I'm not even that angry at Romero. I know you're, Romero is dead to you probably by now. But for me at least, this happened. I'll forgive every now and again that kind of action, because he had the ball went away from him, went in for a 50-50, went over the top of the ball, smashed Casemiro's ankle. In that moment, if you're him, if I'm Romero, I'm going in that strong, right? So it's a 50-50. He went over the top, smashed Casemiro's ankle. It's a red card. I ain't lying. I'm not going to deny the fact it's a red card. But I don't think you throw the baby out of the bathwater. You know what I mean? Like, just have some perspective. It was a terrible challenge. It was a red card all day long. If he hadn't got sent off, I gave us a chance to win that game, because I don't think United are that good a team. They're not a bad team. They're not that good a team. And the rest is as they play out. You know what I mean? I thought Thomas Frank's the thing that frustrates me with Thomas Frank is not the tactics, and it's not the structure of the team. It's the lack of proactivity.
Oh, hang on, you disappeared.
Hello?
You there, mate? Sorry, you disappeared for a second. There
Yeah,
you go.
I'm
You're back. You're back. Yep. Sorry.
I was just saying that the thing that frustrates me about Frank is there was an obvious moment for me 10 or 15 minutes before they scored their second goal, where we should have moved to a 4-4-2, or sorry, a 4-3-2 at that time, and we should have taken Xavi off. We should have put Moani on with Solanke. At least we'd have given them something to worry about up top. We could have taken Solanke off after that and put somebody else on, another midfielder, another defender, whatever. But there was an obvious moment there where from the start of the second half, you could have changed things. But this is for Frank. For me, he always errs on the side of the caution, and I think that's a big problem for us. The other thing that the other thing I said from when he got appointed was the big problem for me is that are him and Lang ever going to convince top players to sign for a club? You know, and people dismiss that fact, but the reality is, Gary Neville was on the Overlap podcast, Overlap YouTube channel that I watched the other day, saying that the reason he doesn't want Carrick to get the job for United after the summer is because he wants someone like Ancelotti. And the reason he said Ancelotti is because Ancelotti can attract top players, whereas Carrick probably cannot. And we're in a situation with a guy like Frank. I don't think top players look at a guy like Frank and go, I want to work with him. But I do think they look at a guy like Ancelotti and say, yeah, I'd work for that guy.
Okay, so would you? So are you Frank out then?
I think I'm Lange out, 100%.
Okay.
And I think with that, I think I am. For me, I gave Frank the benefit of the doubt, and my benefit of the doubt was not his performances. From his performances in the last 4 or 5 games, I would say Frank in. Honestly.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
My thing was more over the last, can you recruit top players? And in the last 2 windows, all I've seen is that we have failed, like astronomically. More embarrassing than I've ever seen this club fail in my 35 years of sporting club. I've never seen us fail so publicly in signings like we have in the last 2 windows. Even with Levy, even with worse managers, right? I don't think Frank's a bad manager, but I don't think he can attract top players. And we failed with a million different signings last window. We failed publicly with Semenyo and other signings this window. And there's a common, for me, that's enough. That's enough of a sample size for me to say this guy cannot attract the top talent. Because if that's an absolute narcissistic, genius, top level Conte, Ferguson, Mourinho level manager, those players aren't saying no to them. Certainly not in that way. They might say no quietly, but they are 100% not coming out and saying no to them.
So you're saying there's a lack of respect from the players towards the management at Tottenham Hotspur?
No, I'm saying that the manager of Tottenham Hotspur can't attract top players. Regardless of the current playing squad.
No, that's what I'm saying. Sorry, my bad. Not a lack of. There's a lack of respect from outside players wanting to come. It's like they don't respect him enough to want to come and play for him.
100%, yeah.
Okay.
I think they're playing the squad right now, but I think there's a difference there.
Do you think that extends toward, just quickly, do you think that extends towards the players at the football club as well? Because players like Romero are willing to also do what they're doing.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Because the reason I say that is because I think that Justin Cochran, I think Johnny Heitinger are some of the most incredible coaches. And I think this is a common thing that I've seen personally, is that when you're, and I respect this an awful lot, when you're Thomas Frank, you hire the best coaches around you. I think he's done that. And when you're Johan Lang, you go and recruit the best people around you. And in fairness to the club, they have done that with the latest appointments in that leadership structure around Johan Lang, from Manchester City Football Group to the best performance director, to the best recruitment guy, whatever his name is, our new director of football operations. But I respect that. If you're not good enough, hire better people around you. Always. I've made my career on that, to be honest with you. But the reality for the club is that unless you have a leadership, an inspiring leader in that position, whether that's a Johan Lang or it's a Thomas Frank, and it should be the manager, admittedly, but it could be the director of football, then we're never going to attract top players. Never. And you can see it. The facts are, all of these players have turned us down. All of them. Semenyo, Morgan Giswell. You know, I know that you can argue about the individual variances. Oh, but Semenyo would have always signed for City. Eze
No, I think. Hang on. I think that.
blah, blah, blah.
Semenyo rejected us to go to a better team. Eze rejected us to go to a better team.
What his
Morgan Gibbs White rejected us
no,
to stay at
but if
Forest.
that was once, if that was a one-time thing, I'd accept it. But it's not a one-time thing. We've got 5 or 6 of those occasions. So that's a failure. That is a failure of the leadership structure to for one thing, understand who we want to recruit, and secondly, more than that, understand if they want to come to us. Like, recruitment is very fucking simple. I run a recruitment business. It's very simple. You identify the talent, and second, you identify if you can recruit that talent.
Do you work in recruitment, Jim?
I've got my own recruitment business, yeah.
You're speaking like a man who works in recruitment. There you go. Yeah, fair enough.
I understand it. It's a very sort of like a, you know, it's a very obvious game. I've worked for some of the big, and I have worked with some of the biggest banks in the world. I'm going to give you more than that, but I don't want to dox myself. But you know, the reality is that is what recruitment is. You have dossiers about people. You know, these guys have enormous dossiers about everybody. We're talking about banks. We're talking about football clubs where the assets are worth 40, 50, 100 million pounds.
Yeah,
right?
but you also have to. I think you're overlooking the fact that there's a pecking order. Maybe there isn't a pecking order in banking. Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. But there's certainly a pecking order in football.
There's an enormous pecking order.
No, I know, but ultimately in football it comes down to trophies, not just money. In banking, it's about money, right? Where am I going to earn the most amount of money? In football, it comes down to how am I going to earn as much money, but also have a propensity to win trophies. And if you're going to lose out to Semenyo, if you're going to lose out to Semenyo to Nottingham Forest or to Everton, I'd be saying, yeah, massive problems. But to lose out to him to City, there's some sort of reality check there. With Eze, same thing. He went to Arsenal. With Morgan Gibbs White, listen, Morgan Gibbs White, I don't know about Morgan Gibbs White. He stayed at Forest, but was he under the threat of, like, was he under duress? I don't know. But either way, I would hear you out if we were losing out on targets to teams that were of our pecking order. I would agree with you. I'm not sure I agree with you about Semenyo and about Eze personally.
The similarity with that, Sean, is that, you know, the banking industry, you always think you want to hire the best people, right? The biggest equity salesman or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So I did a big project about what those guys would cost to the club versus what they contributed. And when you talk about performance and you start to analyze teams, you realize that you don't always want the best person. You want the person that fits your culture. The guy who actually described it best was the guy who owns TikTok. And so the TikTok guy said that when he bought TikTok, he had a vision of when they got $100 million of investment in TikTok. He was like, right, we're going to have the best women.
Jimbo, listen, mate, we can't go off on random tangent, mate. I've got four people waiting, mate. Listen, mate, your echo's horrendous as well, buddy. Come on next time if you can. Can you come on with a better microphone as well? Because I can barely hear what you're saying. It's very quiet. Jimbo, it's your phone, is it? Mate, thank you so much for coming on, my man. Appreciate you coming on. Please come on again next time, mate. But we're going to move on to the next guy. Appreciate you, Jim. Love you, man. Cheers, buddy. Take care.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, it was a bit difficult to hear what Jim was saying there. Let's move on. Let's get Alan in. Alan, big up to you, my man. Hopefully your microphone's a bit noisier. How are you, buddy?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, that's better, mate. I can hear what you're saying. I could barely hear what Jimbo was saying towards the end there. How's things, mate? Thanks for waiting, mate. Sorry for the.
No. It's fine. It's been fascinating listening to the conversation and at the same time watching scores go up on Sky on this computer that's behind me or behind you.
West Ham still winning.
Yep, 2-0.
Yeah.
And the Arsenal are 1-0 up, and Villa are ahead, and you know everybody's winning except us basically. But I watched it. Obviously, I watched it on the telly this lunchtime, and I stuck with it even though I wanted to turn it off after the red card. And I know I can fully understand why there's so much concentration on that red card. But it's pretty simple, really, when it comes to Romero. He's not good enough to be that dangerous. to our team.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know,
I hear you. The risk reward. It's like
exactly.
I mean, you've got a 6 out of 10 at the bar waiting to go home with you. You're a 3 out of 10 really as a guy, and you think you've got a chance. I wouldn't. 10 out of 10, she's not coming home.
No, Sean, I wouldn't know, mate. I've been married 47 years.
Oh, sorry. I'll use a better analogy next time.
And I'm also an ordained minister, so you won't see me going out in the pool, even if I haven't been married 47 years. No, it's all right. It doesn't matter. No, the thing.
It's like trying to convert someone who worships a different faith. You know?
Don't try the analogy, mate. It won't work. But anyway. The thing is, I watched it. I mean, I saw Michael Oliver he got the red card out. Like, it was instantaneous. He didn't have to think about it. And I thought, well, that's typical. And then I looked at it. And what was so terrible about it for me was he actually got the ball and then thought, but now I'm going to get the man. He got the ball cleanly, and he could have got that ball cleanly. Game would have carried on. Nobody would have known any different. But he didn't. He decided, no, I'll have a piece of him as well. And that to me shows everything you need to know about Romero. He can do it, but he can't be asked.
Yeah.
And it was nonsensical. And to my mind, he would have to be a combination of Puskás, Jimmy Greaves, Gilzean, and Greaves before I would say keep the bloke. Because you can't build a team around somebody you don't know is going to be on for 90 minutes other than injury. You know, and you're getting injured. So that's it. But the thing is, I don't want that to obscure the fact that for however long it was, 28 minutes until he got sent off, we were more than holding our own against a resurgent Man United by June. This is,
agree.
you know, they've had a shite season up until Carrick came in, and they still got that thin, you know, they've grown a crust, as it were. Of resilience, but that would easily have been breached. And I really do think that had Romero used his head instead of his boot and stayed on, we were growing into that game. I mean, Conor Gallagher had a chance before then, which was unfortunate because I think he was falling away from it as he went to try and kick it, so it was a weak shot. But we went into that game in a way that we were praying we'd have gone into the game last week against Man City.
Yeah,
and the week before against West Ham, I was at the West Ham game, and I couldn't believe how dreadful we were. This game we played like the second half last week from the beginning.
Yeah,
and I thought that's what we want, and we would have carried on to that. So having said that about Romero, I want to kind of push that to one side.
Okay.
And I want to say, let's look at what actually was really good, even when we were down to 10 men, because I thought that Xavi Simons. Is really growing into his role.
I love him, Alan. I think he's a fantastic player.
He's a great player.
I can't wait to build a team around him. I think he's going to be fantastic in the future.
And I think you said earlier, it might have been Sabah, but I think it was you said that Pape Sarr can't pass to save his life, pretty much. But he's very good at getting the ball and retaining it. So I think actually with him and Gallagher in midfield and one other sort of creative midfielder, which could be Kulisevsky if he was fit, or Maddison if he was fit, or some Maddison lookalike, if you want to put it that way, he actually could be very effective in that midfield, regardless of the fact he can't pass to save his life. Right?
But if you're going to play him to his strength, which is to anticipate, interpret, and intercept, and he's got this. I never really seen it before, apart from today. His ability to kind of beat the first man, which is really impressive in a man-to-man press. If you beat the first man, the whole press falls apart. But then his ability to then distribute the ball is what's lacking.
Which is why you need someone alongside him who he gives the ball to once he's done that. Once he's broken the press, he needs to be able to make an instant short pass and then drop back into midfield. And I don't
think we have a profile of player in our squad that's quite that guy yet.
Not yet. But as you look at Xavi, I think if you watch that first 28 minutes, he was picking up on the fact that Sarr isn't the long pass merchant. And so I do think Xavi, although he's not, I don't know what you call him, he's in the 10 role, they say, don't they? I don't know, I've never understood that either because the numbers are all over the shop these days. But, Xavi, I think, is the player who could do that if we don't use a Maddison. So actually, there were lots of things in the game that I was quite positive about.
Yeah, listen, I hear what you're saying. I hear there's lots of positives to take from in the micro today. Lots of positives. I thought Conor Gallagher was his best performance. I thought he was fantastic in the second half against City, but I thought he was really good today, doing things. I think his ability to draw a foul is really pronounced. I did appreciate Pape Sarr in the first half before the red card, and I think Xavi Simons is fantastic. I really do. I
But
still
what about
think
Sousa when he came on? Because I was thought, oh,
Yeah.
we're desperate. We're putting a 19-year-old we just shipped over from the Amazon, in against Man United at Old Trafford when we're down to 10 men. We are desperate. But actually, he more than held his own. And
I thought he was.
he had
he didn't look scared.
he had the beating of their defender. If he'd have been on longer, I would, obviously good. But I thought, I saw these bright spots. It's probably because I've been a Spurs fan all my life that, you have to look for the little shafts of light in the darkness, don't you?
Sure.
And I saw them today. I don't think Frank's going to get the time that he might need to build a team. I'm not even sure he deserves the time.
Let me ask you that.
Really,
That's an interesting take. So, it sounds like you don't particularly blame Thomas Frank for today, but you obviously know that his results obviously do dictate, regardless of the circumstances. Results are results. It's results business. Do you think he deserves? Let's say that the club decide to keep him until the end of the season, and we finish around where we are, 15th, 16th, something like that. Would you go with him next season?
Well, no. I mean, you could. What I would say was he better not win the Champions League because he'll be guaranteed to get the sack then, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Did you want Ange to be sacked? Just quickly, just regress for a second.
No, personally, I didn't want him sacked because I thought because it wouldn't have mattered who it was in a way. He won a trophy, and I just think it's really, really bad form to sack a manager who's just won you a European trophy the first time in 40 years, and any trophy the first time in 17 years, and with the horrendous injuries that he had, which the causes of which we don't actually know. Because everybody was blaming it on his training methods and everything else, but we're having this season as well with a totally different team. So a different managerial team, a training team. So I don't know. So I would have said no, but primarily because I am getting sick to death of the constant managerial churn, which means that manager A comes in and he has the players of manager Z, and he tries to build his team from the remnants of manager Z's team and build his own. Slightly fails, he gets dumped. Manager B comes in with manager A's rejects, manager Z's rejects, and it carries on like that. And it has to stop because if you look at all clubs, and I hate to mention that mob up the road, but that mob up the road and the team we just lost to, up until Moyes took over, Man United had one manager for 27 years. Arsenal had, just washing my mouth out. The other club up the road had the Frenchman for that time and had the chance to build at every level, at whatever level you like. The teams that are most sustained success are the teams which have the most stable management and training team, allowing for a certain level of competence. I mean, if somebody is utterly incompetent, then it don't matter how long he's got. He's rubbish, isn't he? But
Thomas, where do you put Thomas Frank in that bucket?
I think he's mid-range competent. That's the problem. He's neither really bad or really, really good in my view. But I just think I personally think that the club are going to give him to the end of the season, come what may, because they actually want to swap him out for someone like Pochettino in the summer.
And that's what I think. What would your take be on that?
Well, to return to your analogy of
Alan, you're a man of the cloth, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so does the prodigal son returning home? Does that?
Very good. You stole the analogy right from my lips to God's ears, as they say in my.
What do you think? What do you think about that?
Well, I would certainly rush out to meet him with a ring and a robe, and we'd kill the fatted calf. Let's put it that way. if Maurizio came back, I would. No, I would. I think Pochettino would. I think he would give us such a lift, such an amazing lift, and provided he was given more support than he was back in 2019.
Sure.
I mean, that season, that 2018-19 season, everybody, because of the run to the final. People forget actually it was a pretty rubbish football season, like in the chat in Premier League. Personally, this is a personal anecdote. In 2018, August, I was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry to
I
hear
think wow was not the word that passed my lips when the doctor said,
No,
by the way, you've
no,
got
I'm
this.
sure yours
It was
wasn't
more
yours.
like, what?
But that was
anyway,
2018.
2018. And I went through 6 months chemotherapy, which took us right up. The first time I went out between September and mid-year the following year, first time I went out was to go to my brother's to watch the Champions League final. And that Champions League run, it's not an exaggeration to say it sustained me through all that rubbish, right?
I hear you.
And the Champions League
to stay with it. Yeah.
Champions League semi-final, second leg in Amsterdam. I can't tell you the rush that gave me as someone who's just come through chemo. I was actually in chemotherapy at the time.
You were in
it was
hospital?
amazing. No, I was at home. I was watching it at home, but I mean, it was just. It's burned on my memory. It just lifted me so much. My point being,
before you carry on, let me just clarify. When I say wow, you're right. That wasn't the right word I should have chosen either. I'm so sorry to hear you went through it. I'm glad that you came out 6 years later, though. I'm guessing you're okay now. I hope you're okay.
Well, I'm in remission. It will come back one day. But there you go.
How old are you? How old are you, Alan? If you don't mind me asking.
69 next birthday.
Okay.
So
wish you well with everything.
I'll be right. Anyway, whatever. The point being that we need, as football supporters, as supporters of our club particularly, we know about ups and downs. And we're inured to it. We're not like people who've always constantly got success and therefore think they're entitled to it all the time. We don't. That's not how we've ever been at Spurs, right? But sooner or later, we have to learn that it's consistency that will end up giving us consistency in management, which will give us consistency in results. And that's what I think we need. And if it means Pochettino comes back and stays, and they give him the backing they didn't give him in 2019, I'm all for it. And good luck to Thomas Frank wherever he goes, because he's a nice bloke and he's a decent manager, but he's not. No, he's not.
Do you think he's struggling? Well, let me ask this. It's a great chat. A couple more questions for you. I know that Fareed's been waiting a long time in the background. Then we're going to round off. But
sorry.
Questions. And by the way, the love in the chat for you now. Should debut on the show, Alan. I think it should debut on the show.
Yeah, it is.
Lots of people on the chat giving you all the best wishes with your health. So
thank
up
you.
To the chat. The Thomas Frank conundrum for me, I think there's a part of the part of the conversation I'm not necessarily sure we discuss enough, which is, I don't think he's used to handling the level of profile of ego of player in his experience at Brentford and in Denmark. And I also think that he's also struggling with the likes of Romero saying and doing what he's said and done. And I'd like to ask you about that in a second. But on top of that, you also have a lot of number twos that run the club at the moment. Vinay was a number 2 at Arsenal. He's come in. Johan Lang became a number 2 at Aston Villa before he moved to Tottenham. There's a lot of I don't know, bridesmaids maybe, not the bride, that are in charge of the football club. And then you have these egos that are willing to do what they do, say what they say, whether it's volatile, whether it's true fandom, whether it's engineering of moves, whatever. Do you think that Thomas Frank is tactically, maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but just personality-wise, experience-wise, do you think he's capable of handling the sorts of responsible decisions that he has to make as part of a club that has the level of exposure and scrutiny that Tottenham does? If that makes sense.
It does make sense. It makes very great sense to say that he does need to have a level of, the word I think you're probably reaching for is gravitas. Yeah. That he needs to have the kind of presence in the club and in general, and in the dressing room in particular, that would allow him to navigate the vicissitudes of managing a club the size of Tottenham Hotspur. And we are perhaps being a bit harsh on him, bearing in mind that we don't know what's going on in the background. We know Levy's gone, and we were very happy, most of us, to blame Daniel Levy for all the ills of recruitment and everything else.
I wasn't.
And
I personally wasn't.
no,
but I know
no, I know
fans
you weren't. I know absolutely you weren't. But you have more of an insight because of your background into the financial shenanigans that he was having to deal with, which he couldn't reveal. And I think the same is true at management level in terms of the actual football. We actually don't know what the state of play is in the dressing room or in the training field. We only have the evidence of our own eyes on the pitch, and it has to be said, I don't detect, as you can often detect, in fact almost always detect, I don't detect any sense that any of the players apart from Romero are not playing for him, because Gallagher was running through walls today.
The only thing I would say, just to counter that, and again, I don't support it, but apparently, the first time or the most recent time before last week that he put the post out, it was just Pedro Porro and Richalison that were giving their own social support thumbs ups or whatever on the social posts. Allegedly, I haven't seen the actual official post, but allegedly it was supported very much by the vast majority of the squad. So the way that it's been spoken about in certain parts of the media is that a lot of the players in the dressing room are championing his disapproval, which again, it strikes me as odd, right? Because if Romero is essentially saying, I'm utilizing the injury crisis, which might have been the same regardless of how well we conducted our summer business. Had we signed Semenyo, had we signed some world-class players, you can still only have 25 players in your squad, 24 players in your squad. And if there were still 15 injuries, you'd still be left with 11 fit players, regardless of how well you did. But let's say that he wasn't talking about the injury crisis. He was using the injury crisis to magnify his own discontent with regards the actual the transfer strategy.
Yeah.
Then he's got all these people to say, I support you, but isn't he actually suggesting that half of those players aren't good enough to be in the squad anyway? He's inferring that the people that are supporting him are actually the people that he doesn't want to be here, and that better players should be there in his place, in their place.
Well, yeah, but if you're going to have the captain of the club go on social media for not the first time make a what could be construed as disparaging remarks about the conduct of business of the club, if it's put it more as widely as that, then what's the likelihood of any member of playing staff not supporting their captain? Like, and saying, because you could actually say that all he really said was, it's a big shame we didn't get more business in the transfer window done, and it's something that's happened too often at this club. And if he put it like that, nobody's going to disagree. You wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't disagree. Probably most people at the club wouldn't disagree. But then on the other hand, you could put the point to him, or to dissenters among the club's supporters, that look, would you rather we spent money wisely or too well? Because they could have possibly gone out and got a couple of players for a lot of money. I hesitate to mention the name Tongi Ndombele as one who we spent a lot of money on and was about as much good as a chocolate fire guard.
Richalison, Lo Celso.
Richalison's not much. Blessed little cotton socks, Sessegnon.
Yeah, Sessegnon, Davinson Sanchez, Lo Celso. There's Brian Hill.
On the other hand, there's players we bought and put out on loan and virtually never come back again. And like Vuskovic, why did we not bring him back? Ashley Phillips, why don't we didn't bring him? We didn't bring him back. Alfie Devine's just scored for Preston, by the way. So we've got we supposedly have the players in development. Isn't it about time we develop them in our favour in our club rather than in Scotland or wherever it happens to be? That's my thinking. And if he knows that, I'm going back to Romero, that there are players of the calibre of Vuskovic who could play and are not playing, it's going to be frustrating for him, isn't it? And he's going to express it.
Yeah,
but he shouldn't.
Thomas Frank has to live and die by his decisions, Alan. He decided to veto certain transfers according to reports. He thinks that the squad is good enough. He doesn't want to lock the club into 5-year deals with players that aren't going to move the needle. Okay, fine. But you're not going to be here in 5 months, let alone 5 years, if you don't have the results. So You live and die by results. Alan, listen, I've got to move on to Fareed, mate. Absolutely fantastic debut, buddy. I can see
Just before I go, sure. My dog Betsy would very much like to say hello to your dog Bugsy Malone, who she very much enjoys watching playing with the ball when you're walking across those fields or by the canal.
Well, listen, I'm going to get back to that. I haven't done that for a while because it's been pouring with rain for 2 months. You know, listen, another biblical passing before we leave. What do they say? It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. It feels like that where I live right now, Alan. So
I've got an ark in the back garden. It's just behind that guitar there.
There we go. Listen, we're a man after each other's hearts. I'm learning the Bible right now. I've fallen into religion by finding the devil. Believe it or not, I feel like the devil is very much apparent right now. If you look in certain areas of politics, so I'm finding the Lord through a backdoor entry. Alan, listen, I love you.
That sounds almost rude, but I won't talk about that at all.
We'll talk about it next time. Appreciate you, Alan. Thanks so much, my man.
Bye-bye.
Be up to you, Alan. Take care. What a debut that was. Fantastic from Alan. Guys, I'm just going to kick Alan out for a second. That sounded rude. Fareed, I'm going to just bear with me 2 seconds, guys. I'm busting for a wee. Just give me 10 seconds. I'll be back. And I can see Lubo and Sam have come in, and then we're going to round off. Just give me 2 seconds, guys. I'll be back in 1 second. Wow, sorry about that. Quickest we ever. Let me bring in Fareed into the chat. Sorry, Fareed, how are you, mate? Thank you for waiting so long, buddy. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Sean?
I'm good, my man. I'm good.
Good. Let me say good luck to Alan on his health. He was a good guest, great guest, actually.
He was very good. Fareed, have you got two? I can hear myself in an echo. Have you got two things open regarding?
Oh my God.
Close off your YouTube.
Let me see where's my YouTube in the back. Okay, let me just do it. Just 1 second. Okay, YouTube.
I think we're good now, Fareed.
Okay,
I think we're
is that
good.
Better? Sorry.
Oh, no.
Is that better?
I think we're good now, Fareed. I think we're
good.
No, it's not good. Fareed. No, I think you have YouTube open, my man.
Oh my God.
I think you have YouTube open, my man.
Okay, I closed it. I did close it.
Just have the StreamYard open, Fareed. Oh no, he's gone. He's disappeared. Listen, what? I don't want to make him wait any longer. Let me quickly do these super chats, and then we can bring. If he doesn't come back in, we'll bring in Lubo. Bungle says Xavi growing, Connor. Xavi's growing. Connor and Paulinho workhorses. Romero, how many times is this player going to let us down? Captain material? I don't think so. I think we've spoken about this, Bungle. Appreciate you, my man. I completely agree with you, buddy. I completely agree with you. Thank you very much for your super chat. And Sunny is live says, I think Frank's comments that he didn't want to be locked into players who won't be here for the long term is BS. It's cover for the fact the board isn't backing him, and will replace him in the summer. Possibly, mate. Possibly, Sonny. Possibly. I would hope that's not the case. I would hope you back your manager either way, but appreciate you. Let's bring Fareed back in. Let's see, Fareed, how are you, my man?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, nice, mate. We figured it out. Well done, buddy. Well done. That was interesting. Right. Big up to you, my man. Thank you for waiting so long. How are you feeling about today?
It just keep getting worse. I think. I don't know. I think we have multi-level issues in the club. when the Lewises took over, they had a plan to take over and kick Levy out, but apparently they have no plan whatsoever for the football team. And until we get to the summer and see if they do have a plan for the football team, we're going to be treading where we at. And we really cannot judge Frank, on his ability to coach until you get him some players. I mean, right now, our football team is a collection of football players. Most of them were bought under Levy because they were the right price for Levy, but not to be able to play a certain way. So until we get to the summer, where the board decide, okay, are we going to keep Thomas? What kind of stuff? I'm sure hopefully we'll play. They choose to play front foot football and decide to buy players. It's going to take at least 2 years to build this team to be able to compete. Right now, we are a mid-table team at best, regardless of who's coaching the team. I mean, and of course, what Romero did today tells me he doesn't want to be here. I mean, I supported him until today, but he clearly doesn't want to be here. Kulo doesn't want to be here.
Did you support him
yes.
in his activity in the week?
Yes.
You did, yeah?
Yes. I thought I was disagreeing with you. I thought, okay, he's calling the board, but he's clearly deciding that I don't want to play here anymore. And I think Frank let things get out of hand. The problem is I don't think the players respect him. I mean, when Van der Ven and Spence walked past him, he should have done something about it then and maybe get the upper hand where let the team respect him. But he's letting the players do so much stuff that does not affect the team negatively. Of course, we don't see what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But
do you genuinely think, Fareed, that this is where I'll defend him in part, right? I always get accused every time I have an opinion on a micro thing, like in game. People will think that you're extrapolating your opinion out to make it about part of a bigger thing. That's not how I work, right? I don't have an end game. I look at the thing. I land where I land because I like judging things here. I think other people, they've already landed and they're trying to find the runway that's the quickest point towards the kind of the disembarkation point, if you like. For me, what I would say about Romero is I think that Romero was wrong to say what he did 3 times. I don't think it helps. I think it makes the club look worse. If he's genuinely trying to make the club be better, I think doing those things doesn't aid his end game. However, do I think that he got sent off today because he doesn't care about Tottenham? No, I don't. I don't think he got sent off because he wants out. I think he got sent off because he does what he does, and what he does sometimes can be brilliant and sometimes can be lunatic. And I think that today it just went into the realms of, like, you know, there's a very thin line between genius and insanity kind of thing. And I think that, you know, he gets that right. He smashes someone, he wins the ball high up, he hurts Casemiro, but in a fair way. He doesn't like Brazilian players, whatever. All of those things. I don't think he was literally, in his mindset was, I'm trying to get sent off. I don't care about Tottenham. I'm not in any way, shape or form invoking that. But I do think that what he did today, he's done before, you know, more than one time. And so that's part of the reason why I don't think he's everything that people make him out to be, is because the very best defenders, you have to remember, sorry, and this is your time, Fareed, but I'm just going to land here. If a striker makes a mistake 9 times in a game, but he scores a 10th goal and we win the game 1-0, he gets the man of the match. Exactly. If a goalkeeper makes 9 unbelievable saves and then makes 1 mistake and we lose the game 1-0, people will criticize him. The further back in the pitch that you go,
absolutely,
the more that mentality has to play a part, concentration, those sorts of things. Yes. And I think that Romero, as a defender, I think he operates like a striker, where he thinks that mistakes don't impact the team quite the way. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Right. Oh, I agree with you 100%. Although he had the same exact foul against a Chelsea player in the box the first year of Ange. The same exact, and he got out. He got a red card.
And that game was a sliding doors moment for Tottenham.
Exactly. Now, to me, it's a sliding door moment for Thomas Frank to play Danzo and the Romanian player. I don't know how to say his brother.
Dragusin, or Dragusin, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, because our captain now is going to be out 4 games. Okay, you set him down another 2 games and bring him in the second half or whatever. If you want to get the respect of the team back, because it seems like we're going to have Thomas Frank until the end of the season. So Thomas Frank needs to decide what kind of a coach he's going to be if he's going to be next year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you need to earn the respect of the players, and that's the way to do it, in my opinion. You sit Romero down, and actually let Van der Ven or Gallagher be the captain for the next of the season. I mean, Romero cannot be the captain. Be the captain at all anymore.
I agree.
Okay,
but would you sell him in the summer?
After today, I would. But I like Danzo as much as
I like Danzo as well. I like Dan. I think he's great.
Danzo is a better team player than Romero.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, but you need a backup for Danzo and Van der Ven. So you sell him if you could get Viskovic back. Absolutely sell Romero and get him out.
Yeah, so you have Dragusin, Danzo, Van der Ven, and Viskovic.
Exactly.
And maybe one more.
One more. You might get. Don't we have another guy that's on loan right now in the?
Yeah, we have Ashley Phillips. We have
yes.
We have the guy, the kid Byfield. But I'm saying you go and buy another one as well. Just
absolutely to cover yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
I agree. But I don't want to sell him for £30 million because Atletico Madrid want to buy a good player for cheap.
No, you probably get 45, 50 million. You get your money back on him. But you're not going to get $75 million on him.
No.
If you want that, you're going to have to sell Van der Ven, but you really don't want to sell Van der Ven.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
But Van der Ven might also want out.
Exactly.
But he doesn't behave the way that Romero does. So
until we get to the summer, see, the Lewises are changing the structure of the organization. Okay, and until those people gel together and show the players that they have a plan, which is going to be, according to them, the summer window. In the summer window, how you spend the money and who you bring in shows you what kind of organization or what kind of a team we're going to be for the next 2, 3, 4 years. Of course, you're not going to be able to go for players like Semenyo and top line players. You're right now going after players like Gallagher and Palhinha, solid professionals.
That's fine though. There's lots of players. There's lots of professional, solid players, right? Lots of players like that.
And I think he should have kept one of them in midfield and took Sarr out today, because the minute he made that sub today, we got the second goal. I think our midfield got a little bit.
You're the first person that's mentioned the timing of that, and it's true.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if it was because of the substitute. It might be, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe because you made three changes at the same time, so there's lots of disruption. I hear you. I do hear you. You are the first person that's mentioned that.
But I like Palhinha and Gallagher because they're the steel in the middle of the field, and one of them need to be there at all times, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially that you're playing Archie Gray on the right fullback. He's not really a right fullback, and Souza is just his first game. So once you took Palhinha and Gallagher, you had no experience defending at all. So
yeah, I hear you. I think there could have been a repivoting there. You could have maybe put Palhinha out to the right back. He's played there before. Exactly. Right. You could have done that.
Right back. And switch him, get Archie up in midfield. At least you still at 1-0. You still could get a goal.
Yeah, but I think today, for me personally, I feel like when it's 1-0, I said it at halftime. I said, look, settle in. They're going to come after us in the early stages. Just get through the first 15, 20 minutes. Around the 70-minute mark, then you move for it, and then you see if you can get something. We didn't have any real set pieces. We didn't have any corners. We had very few throw-ins that were deep that we could take advantage of. So you had to create it in real play. But I felt like at 1-0, it was always going to go one of two ways, right? It wasn't going to finish 1-0. You were either going to nick an equalizer or you were going to lose 2-0. It just happened to be that the goal was scored just after the transition of the substitutions. I agree with you that there's definitely like the timing of the 3 subs plus a minute later, game over. That's a problem. I don't know. I have to watch the game back to see whether or not it was because of one of those 3 players that were off the pitch that came on. They weren't positionally set up. But look, at the end of the day, I'd rather have lost 2-0 or drawn 1-1 than lost 1-0 and just defended a one-goal lead. You know, you had to go for it. So
absolutely. But still, I mean, bringing Kulu in, who hasn't scored the goal in the Premier League yet, and taking Solanke out too. I mean, could Solanke have played the last 10 minutes of the game? He could.
The thing is, though, you need, you know, I had the guy Gary on Football Inc., who works around the medical team at Tottenham, and he said, like, these guys are working in the red zone, so it's part of that kind of analysis, that looking at what he's doing and saying he can't play any more minutes. Right. You know, he's going to pull his hamstring. You know, so you have to make these tough decisions, unfortunately.
And that's where right now this team is a collection of all of Levy's mistakes over the last 10 years. So until we start correcting those mistakes, we're going to keep going in the same circle. I mean, you're going to have 2 Premier League players in every position. And right now, we don't have anywhere near that.
No, we don't. You don't. Yeah. We're a fair best. But you know what it is? If you look at the squad, imagine the entire squad fully fit. And you're thinking, you've got Solanke and Richalison. Maybe you could do with an improvement there. Maybe you could. Yeah. But you know, you've got a fully fit squad of Kudus, and you have Xavi and Maddison and Decky. You know, one of those guys isn't going to make the team, right? So, like, if it's a fully fit squad, the squad isn't that bad. The problem is that there's always 15 injuries or whatever. So that the biggest problem at Tottenham, it might be the ownership, but I think also it's the medical department. I think the inability to keep players fit is a problem, because even if you had signed everybody that you wanted, even if the summer was like the best summer window we've ever had, Fareed, and we signed Semenyo and we signed this guy and that guy and that guy and whatever, and then we had 15 injuries, we would still only have 12 options.
Absolutely. Although again, like Kudus and what's the other midfielder, the young guy, both of their injuries were because they were overplayed, because you didn't have bags. Yes, Berghvall. Okay. If you had couple of more players in the summer that took off minutes of those 2 guys, or had he played Aubert a little bit more, that comes on Frank. Probably Kudus would not have got his injury. So, yeah,
I hope so. Listen, having spoken to that guy who's the medical expert, you know, he said it's not. I said, what's the problem? What is it? Is it? Do we not have the right people, or do we not have the right, you know, training methods, or do we not have the right pitches? Do we not have the right technology? He said, no, we have the best in class technology. We have all of the best machines. We have the best in class people. They've all come from a brilliant place and they're going on to brilliant places. The grass is the same everywhere in the club, and it's the same everywhere else. I said, so what explains the injury crisis? And it's like a black hole. There's nothing obvious that explains why it is that we have more injuries than everyone else.
They can't figure it out yet.
Yes. Yeah, someone will figure it out. Someone somewhere is very smart that will come in and say it's because of this. You know, but it's a big deal. You know,
having Fareed, in every position will help.
Of course, yeah. Fareed, are you? Would you sack Thomas Frank? It sounds like you don't believe in Thomas Frank. Would you sack him?
Okay, now Thomas Frank is a good coach, been in the Premier League for so long, proved himself, and he's not going to have the chance to prove himself because he doesn't have the players due to the injuries. He seems to me and I played football in high school 1 year in college. He's like the sub teacher that came in and not getting the respect of the students. And having him after Ange, he's a totally different personality. Apparently, the players' reactions to him is not as positive as it could have been. I mean, I'm sure he's a good coach, but the players are not
respecting him,
buying or respecting him.
Yeah, I agree.
So unfortunately, you might have to let him go, but you have to get somebody who's gonna get this team respect from day one. And we already gone through.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy?
The only guy is Poch now. I mean, you gotta go with Poch and
well, but does Pochettino see? This group of players don't know Pochettino, right?
Yes.
The fans will be Pochettino.
Yes.
But these group of players, they don't know Pochettino. They don't. Most of them won't remember Tottenham in 2016. You know, most of our kids won't. They would have been children. They would have been like 6 years old.
He plays a better style of football that the players would like to play.
Okay.
The problem with Thomas Frank, he goes into every game. See, the problem with Ange was, I'm going to play 4-3 game. Well, if you let 3 goals in, the other Premier team is not going to let you score 4 goals to beat them every time. And the problem with Frank is, I'm going to play 0-0 and try to nick a goal. And the other team, if they get a goal, they're not going to let you get on a tying goal. So you need somebody like Poch who could adjust the players to play for him, and hopefully you get the team to gel all together. We don't have that time. The team is not gelling together. I mean, the players.
But we can't get Pochettino now. So do you think Thomas Frank is going to keep us up?
Well, due to having 4, although West Ham are playing good today.
Yeah, aren't they?
So we need to win 3 games.
Not just today, by the way. They played well against Chelsea. They played well against us. They played well. Yes. They're in a bit of form. They're in a bit of form, you know.
If had they beaten Chelsea, would be in trouble, or more trouble than we are now. But right now, it's gonna be Chelsea and Leeds fighting it out for whoever gonna stay. Okay, we need to win 3 games at least between now and the end of the season to stay up.
3 more.
So hopefully we have that in us.
Well, we've won 2 games in 16 for Reed, so it's
it doesn't look.
I ask everyone that comes on, and no one seems to know where the 3 wins are coming from.
Exactly. We don't know where is that going to come from. It's
not going to come against Newcastle, and it's not going to come against Arsenal. So
absolutely not. Or Chelsea
Chelsea as well. Yeah. So Fareed, listen, thank you so much for waiting so patiently, my man. Thanks. We've got 2 more guys I've got to bring on, so I want to say thank you so much, my man. Come on again next time. I appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks, you very much.
Take care, bud. Take care. Big up to Fareed. Lovely debut from Fareed as well. Lubo is next into the hot spot, and then we've got Sam. I can't see Sam's camera, so Sam, you're gonna have to turn your camera on if you want to come on. Otherwise, Lubo, you're rounding the show off like the fluffer. How are you, my man? Good to see you. No backdoor today. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, no, shame. Shame we couldn't win by the back door either with 10 men, but we were in the game till Romero got himself sent off.
Did you go? Obviously, he didn't go. No, he didn't go.
No. I'm really conflicted with this law. Now, the law is that it's a red card. I don't know how you tackle at pace, at speed, with force, without following through. I'm not sure. And if you look at Casemiro, the force of the tackle knocked his body weight onto his ankle, and his ankle was bent. Now, these are the laws of the game today, and because of that, it's a red. But they're taking tackling out of football, unfortunately.
What was a red? Sorry.
No, I'm saying Romero's. Yeah. What funny thing is the only.
By the way, was the challenge from Ahmad on Conor Gallagher? I think was it Conor Gallagher?
Yes.
Was that a red card? He got lucky, but he went through into his knee.
That could have been a red.
Actually, that's the first time I've asked that question this evening.
The other red that for me, the only person who noticed it, who spoke about it, was Ali McCoist on the TV. When Gallagher got taken out by Luke Shaw, when the keeper was miles out of his area. Now, why is it only a goal-scoring opportunity that's stopped that results in a red card when a player's through on one-on-one? I don't get it. It's, for me...
I don't remember the incident. What happened?
The keeper came out, lost the ball. Gallagher got the ball, tried heavy first touch, pushed it to his left. Shaw took him out. Had he gone past Shaw, the keeper's on the edge of his box. All he's got to do is lob it over him. Right. And it's a goal. Now, for me, not sure why that doesn't constitute the stopping of a goal-scoring opportunity as well. So
wasn't there an elbow on people? I didn't see it again because I was.
Yeah, there was
an elbow on Sousa. Correct.
There was an elbow on Sousa as well. Michael Oliver could have given penalties against Gray, Van de Ven, and one of the Man United boys. There were 3 penalties that there could have been. I didn't think his performance was particularly good. He missed a lot. Linesman missed quite a bit. They were getting decisions for throw-ins wrong.
I don't think the referee had a great game. Michael Oliver never does against Tottenham, but I don't think that Romero's just because the referee made sloppy decisions elsewhere doesn't mean that the Romero decision was wrong. Do you think the Romero decision was a red card?
By the letter of the law, it's a red card.
So do you think that he? Let me ask this, actually, Lubo, because I went hard on you to the point where the other day you had someone in my chat saying, I'm going to come and meet you in a dark alleyway.
Yes.
I apologise about that if I didn't mean to invoke that on you. Romero, I think you changed your mind a little bit on the Romero thing. Initially, you were like, he shouldn't say it outside of, he shouldn't say it, he shouldn't air the dirty laundry. Then you said, actually, he was right to say it. Now that he's done that today, where do you stand on Romero?
Sell him in the summer, because I've subsequently, after last week, I've subsequently been told about the power that he wields in the dressing room, and there isn't you can see there isn't the respect for Frank that there should be amongst the players, and I think if that's the case, then that's a culture at Tottenham in the dressing room that's got to be stopped, and pronto, because you can't have a situation where a captain is in charge of things. People are following the captain. Players are liking what he's saying on Instagram. So in effect, there's anarchy in the dressing room, and everyone's saying, "Sod it, I don't care whether the ownership like this or not." Everybody's piled in and got behind. Not everybody, but certain players have piled in and got behind Romero, and I don't think Frank has got any authority there, to be fair, in the dressing room. I just don't see it. I think have
you changed your mind on sacking Frank?
Don't think there's any point in sacking Frank at the moment. I don't think we'll get relegated. I think whoever you bring in,
we're 7 points behind. 6 points behind.
6 points. Do you know what? Okay, I'm not panicking. There is.
West Ham are in form, my man.
Well,
West Ham are in form. They've won 3 of the last 4.
All right.
And they only lost to Chelsea after they were 2-0 up against Chelsea. West Ham have got a lot of momentum. We have won 2 in 16,
well,
Lugo.
United have got Bournemouth. I think they've got Man U and Bournemouth at home. Then they've got Liverpool away. Then they've got Liverpool away, West Ham.
West Ham.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then they've got Fulham, Man City. Then they've got Fulham, Man City, and Villa through March. So they've got a pretty tough. They've got a tough March coming up. I think the football we played first half an hour I thought was very good. I thought the first 10-15 minutes United pushed us back. From 15 minutes onwards to when Romero got sent off, I thought it was all Spurs, and we were getting stronger and stronger. And to me, we looked like the team that would score next. And then he just, that tackle completely ruined it. And then you're up against it. Then the marking was non-existent on Mbeumo for the first goal. Even if you're a man short,
that's the other
box, get everybody, but don't leave a guy like Mbeumo on his own on the edge of the box.
Yeah, which goes back to the mistakes we were making from September until November.
Yeah. But if you bring another manager in, he walks into an injury crisis and an injury hit club. What's he going to do? The one positive to take out from today was I thought Sousa looked very tidy, didn't he? He's got pace. Didn't phase him.
I'm not judging him. I'm not going to sit here and say he looks class. Like,
No, I'm not saying that. But
I agree with you. Like when as a debut goes, I thought it was for a 19-year-old. He didn't shy away. He didn't.
You're in front of 74,000 on your debut.
Amazing day for him.
I think it's. I think full marks to the key. He didn't let the occasion get the better of him at all.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's the right way to describe it.
100%. Shows good mentality and character. In terms of just going back to Romero, now for me personally, I sell him in the summer. Get rid. He's just not. For me now, he's not a good influence at the club. And he's now out.
Changing your mind a hell of a lot, buddy.
No, I know. Listen, but when you see somebody behave in that way, and then you hear that he has so much influence behind the scenes, that's not good. That's really not good.
Yeah, you have to have some respect for the manager. I do want to ask you about I think the takeaway today. And by the way, the mainstream media are going to have a field day with Romero tonight and tomorrow, an absolute field day, because none of them thought it was right for him to say what he said. And then to back it up with this, they are going to annihilate him. And rightly so. Well, I feel vindicated. I wish I was on the show on Monday night so that I could let everybody know. I want to find out, right? Everyone, do you still feel the way you did? Because 95% of people told me I was a fucking idiot for saying that Romero shouldn't say what he said. You have to back up if you're going to say that sort of shit, you have to be imperfluous. You have to be like your shit doesn't stink. That's the way that you have to be. But he hasn't, and he's let himself down today. And I hope I can find a way to be on the show on Monday night because I got cooking to do. But the reality is, Lubo, that he's let us down today. But at the same time, I also think that in the second half, there were still some set in play designs there where when Xavi Simons got the ball, he ran forward, he won the ball back, half the pitch, and Conor Gallagher and him and Solanke were the only people that were advanced. Udogie was already off the pitch.
Yeah.
And Pape Sarr and Polina stopped. They stopped on the halfway line. And then as soon as the game broke and then it paused and the camera went to Thomas Frank, Thomas Frank's telling them to go forward. That should have been that to me, I'm just reading between the lines. That was a pre-game strategy. You, Pape, and you, Polina, you stop. You don't go past the halfway line. And then obviously they didn't update the settings at halftime when we went down to 10 men. And I think that I still think that Thomas Frank has to take some criticism. And I backed Thomas Frank in the last month, but I think he has to take some criticism for the fact that those settings weren't updated, and also the fact that the defending for the first goal was horrendous. There was no set pieces. It was the easiest set piece I've ever seen. And once again, we are vulnerable against a team that Michael Carrick, the only discernible difference about Manchester United right now is that they shoot galore from distance. 25 yards, doesn't matter if it's in Bumo, if it's Mainu, if it's Cunha, if it's Fernandez, they shoot from 25 yards. So that they're going to be trying to take on opportunities from outside the box, and we allowed them to set that corner piece up the way they did. That's on Thomas Frank. That is on Thomas Frank.
That is poor. That's poor. That's also on whoever's organising the organising the marking at set pieces, to actually not see that there's because whoever it is, whether it's it wouldn't be Dragoson, he's just come back in the team, but you would expect Van der Ven to be Frank's voice on the pitch when it comes to organising a defence for set pieces. And he should have actually said, "Hang on, guys, there were 3 men on Casemiro. Why we got 3 men on Casemiro when Mbuemo's on the edge of the box on his Jack Jones?" For me, that was poor. The second goal, Gray got caught on his heels, and Bruno got behind him and took it well, which was strange. I thought Gray was having a tidy game up to them, but that second goal was down to him. But you know, we're one down. We've got to try and chase the game somehow. I don't know. Listen, the game was gone from the time Romero got sent off. You know, you're playing against a good team in form, with really good players up top and in midfield, and it's really frustrating because I was sort of just watching it with my son, and we were just saying just before Romero got sent off, this is turning into a really good game. You know,
yeah, I thought it was a good game. I thought it was an interesting game. I'm so fucked off with Romero. I really am. But I know that everyone's going to sit there and say, "Oh, you've got an agenda." And like you always say, Lubo, and like always, Sabah appreciates you saying, there's a difference between the micro and the macro.
Yeah.
Right. I deal in the micro. I don't worry about the macro. The macro will take care of itself. The micro is where we analyze. If you're talking about topics, but I think that people who are Levy, or it's not Levy out, ENIC out, that a lot of them are reverse engineering their outcome. And I think you've been reasonable on the Romero thing, by the way, Lubo. I'm not including you in this one generally, but I think most people that feel the way you do about ENIC, and like I say, I got no love for these ENIC people, none at all. I don't care. Fuck them, right? Get them out of the club. But the people that are like, I've been right. It's always ENIC. That they sit there and they go, anything that's happening in the micro that supports the narrative of ENIC out, they don't care about whether the micro is correct or otherwise. They're going to support it because it leads back to...
Got no choice.
Yeah.
The only option.
Sorry. Go on.
You just shut the door. Who was that? What was that? What was she asking? Who was that? You just shut the door on.
I've got to go and pick my daughter up in a few at 5:05.
You just literally went, yeah, fuck off.
No, not at all. I'm live on stream. It's not, you know.
Oh, that's so funny. That's hilarious. Lubo. No, what I was going to say was I just think that the reverse engineering of the ENIC out thing towards where people support the Romero thing, like two things can be true at the same time. I'm fine with people that want to be ENIC out. I don't like these ENIC guys. I want them gone. Oh, I want Brooklyn Eric. I want my boy Brooklyn Eric to come in. I want Wingfired to come in. I want to see some money come in. See, I'm supporting all that stuff. Doesn't mean I support the narrative that Romero making the situation look worse than it needs to be. And so I want to know, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that people that were supportive of Romero are going to change their tune, or do you think they're going to dance around the fact that he's cost us today?
I think people are really cheesed off with Romero. Just reading through all the groups, everyone's really pissed off with him. Everybody.
Yeah.
But when I say everybody on the groups that I'm on with.
What's Tel saying? Have you spoke to Tel?
I haven't spoken to him yet. I haven't spoken to him.
Mate, I need to cancel my plans on Monday so I can be on the show.
I felt sorry for Frank because that's not his fault. He had them set up in a certain way, and we were coming back into the game well. Not his fault. Romero tackles like that, and Romero knows the rules. He knows the rules. You know, if that rule had been in my time of playing, 20 players would have been sent off every match.
Yeah,
they've completely taken tackling out of football. Because, if you're going in at pace, you can't help but follow through. But Romero's aware of that, and he will know that you just can't hit people with force. You've just got to try and block tackle. That's the only type of tackling that you can do these days. Because if you block tackle, your studs are on the ground and you're coming in sideways on. That's the only way you can tackle now, unless you slide tackle and you tackle cleanly. The game's
apparently Stel's been apparently Stel's been manipulating the situation. Listen, Lubo, I'll let you go, my man. Appreciate you coming on, buddy. I know you've got to take you got to pick up your daughter. We've got one more man to bring on. Appreciate you, Lubo. I'll see you soon. See you soon, buddy. Take care, mate. Love you, man. See you, buddy. Ciao. Sam, before I bring you in, big up for waiting so long. I've got a super chat there from Patrick 18960. Unbelievable super chat late on in the stream, my man. Thank you so much. He says, Sean, that chat with the Reverend Al rocked. New show for you and Al, goals and souls. Do you know what? I actually did. I really enjoyed it. He's listen, people that talk in front of a congregation for a living, they're salesmen. They're selling something. I'm a salesman. I've always been a salesman. I'm used to selling things. Lubo's a salesman. People that sell things, they have to be able to communicate, right? That's the rule. And that guy's just selling the word of God. Today, he sold the word of his own contemplations around Tottenham. I think I might bring him onto rabbit hole ramblings. I tried to say to him at the end, I found the devil, and then from the devil, I found God. So what a guy, Reverend Al. We're going to call him Reverend Al from now on, are we, Patrick? Big up to you, buddy. Goals and souls. Al, if you are still watching this show, Al, reach out to me. If you're on Twitter, reach out to me, man. I'd like to get you on. We'll get you on a panel show or something, mate. You stood out tonight. You stood out, mate. Be up to you. Let's bring the last guy on. Let's bring the last guy on, and his name is Sam. Hello, Sam. How are you, my man?
Dude, good. How are you? I'm just here for a bit of a rant, to be honest. So
that's all right, mate. Where are you from?
I'm from Boston.
Boston. Big up to Boston. What's going on, man?
Been supporting the club for 16 years, and it's just been horrible, to be honest. This year it's been insane, absolutely insane. I think we're in such a mess that it's such a big mess where you don't even know where to start. There's no building blocks. Before the season, I thought, okay, there's a defense, we can work on around that, build from the back up. Now I'm just looking at the defense, and it's just absolutely disgusting. You look at Vicario. I know he had a good game today, but even he has his bozo moments. Every game he has a bozo moment. Even in today's game.
Today was set up for him, right? Because he's a good shot stopper.
Yeah.
And they had I think they had 24 shots on goal, Sam, and I think 18 of them from outside the box.
Yeah.
So he's going to walk away thinking he had a worldie, but in reality, that is set up. He loves people having shots from 25 yards.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you look at the shots that he had to face, they weren't amazing shots. It was just from distance, but he almost gave away a goal, right?
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating. Udogie, again, plays 2 games, goes missing for 9. Porro, I know he didn't play today, but even Porro, what does that say if your right back is his only good, outstanding qualities going forward? We're playing Archie Gray at right back. Again, Romero, I'm done with this guy. I'm absolutely done with this guy, right? Okay, you call out the board.
Did you agree with Romero in the week?
Look, I think it's a very difficult thing. I think if it was a level of player of a Van Dijk or even I hate to say this, but Saliba or someone of that quality, where you go and he every game you see he's a 10 out of 10, performance after performance. But if it's inconsistent performance, it goes and calls out the board. I mean, I'm pretty sure the board is laughing at him, like thinking, "Who are you? Like, who are you calling? You're calling us out. Like, look at your own game. Like, what kind of standards? What kind of image is he trying to portray of himself? Like, and then even when he got sent off, Lisandro Martinez comes up to him, and he's just laughing. He's just sharing a joke, like, "Oh yeah, like happen again." And I'm tired of our fans defending him. This whole the media has an agenda against Romero. He has 6 red cards since he's come here, most out of any Premier League player. Yeah. Come on, there's no agenda, there's no media agenda against him. He's rash, even when he doesn't get red. When he doesn't get red cards or yellow cards, the way he goes flying into tackles, it's like, calm down. There's no reason for you to do that. Like, it's just so frustrating because at this minute, like, I don't know what Frank can do when you have such idiots playing. Like, I'm sorry, like what do fans expect Frank to do? Like, I think he's out of his depth. I think he himself didn't realize what mess he was walking into. I think any manager that comes into Tottenham to manage Tottenham doesn't realize the level of the players. the board, anything. They're just shocked. They're absolutely shocked. And I think Frank right now is in a state of shock and he has no clue what to do. It's just embarrassing. It's just very difficult because okay, let's get through the season. If we get through the season, that is. But what do we build? Where do we start? There's the goalkeeping position. There's left back. There's right back. There's another right center back that we need to get. We need to get a progressive 6, another midfielder probably, an all-rounder. We need a left winger. We need a striker. That's I've listed nine players that I just said. We can't do that in one window. It's impossible.
No, you're not going to get it all done in one window. You're not.
100%.
The fact that you haven't. Let me ask you this. I love what you're saying, Sam. By the way, you've already won me over, man. Come on again. Reach out to me, DM. I'll bring you on the panel show, man. Just reach out to me on DM somewhere on Twitter or Instagram, whatever. I'll bring you into the WhatsApp group. I love your take already. Let me ask you this though. January window is what January windows are, right? The game has changed. Okay, so like UEFA have changed the rules around the league from the group stages to the league phase. It goes on to the 28th of the month. Listen, I'm not defending Johan Lang. I'm not. Okay, the January window was a shit show, but what he said, he's the sort of guy that says like, you know, you're criticizing me for doing a bad job, but here's the reasons why it's not entirely my fault. And he's not going to say it's also my fault, but here's the other reasons. Like it is his fault, but the things that he's pointing to are also true. So if the January window is no longer something that you can rely on because the UEFA rules won't change, or they haven't changed, and because the games go on to the 28th, and I get it, no one wants to lose their best players, whatever, right? Then you can't rely on the January window. If you can't also fix an entire squad in the summer, you can do that. But ultimately, if you still have 15 injuries, then your injuries are still going to cost you, regardless of how strong your squad is, right? If Arsenal built the squad that they had and they lost 15 of their first team players, they would still be screwed, right? It is what it is. So how do Tottenham navigate this? Because Tottenham clearly have a medical issue. We clearly do. It's not just a one-off. It wasn't Angie's fault. It's not Frank's fault. It's a thing, whether it's a curse or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's a thing. What do Tottenham do? You're right. You just named 9 positions that we need to improve on, 100%. In order to make 9 new players come into the squad in the summer, you have to sell 9 players. And some of those players that have to be sold are players that have got permanent injury crises. So no one wants to buy them. So what do you do, Sam? If you're in charge of Tottenham Hotspur right now, what do you do, bro?
That's the thing. I just think there's so many problems. You don't even know where to start. I think the medical team is a problem. It has been a problem. And you touched on the fact of the January transfer window basically being null and void at this point, right? Very few clubs have made any business. I think the only January transfer window that club did well in was probably, I would say, City, but then that's City, right? But Johan Land, the Champions League system and the European system has changed 2 seasons in a row, right? We had it last year and then we have it this year. So Johan Land should have used the experience from last year and said, okay, look, January window's done. We can't navigate. We can't do business there. It's only opportunistic signings, which we did with Gallagher. Then you shift all your priority to the summer. You can't give a new manager 2 new permanent signings in one window. That's it. That's not good enough, right? That's not good enough. You had 4 months. You have 4 months essentially in the window to get in only 2 permanent signings. It's ridiculous. It's an absolute ridiculous system, to operate like that. And
so how do you? So are you someone that's you're American, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't sound American. You sound like you've got a little bit of something else going on. What's going on with you?
Yeah, I lived a bit all over the world. I've lived a bit in Malaysia. I lived in Cyprus. I went to an English school in Cyprus. So,
are you a military child?
No, my dad was a diplomat.
A diplomat. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
He better not be in the certain files, my man, Sam.
No, he's not. Thank God he's not. Yeah.
I'm only kidding. That's a rabbit hole thing. Let me ask you this. So we are where we are. Okay. Are you someone that thinks that the owners are the problem? Because, like, your Brooklyn Eric is one of your countrymen, or at least your temporary countryman. I don't know if you're a fully fledged American, whatever. My man, Brooklyn Eric, I'm rooting for him. My tech DJ, my NASA bro, whatever. Him, Wing Fi, NG, in whatever his name is. Him and his consortium. I want to see changes. I want to see just a level of ambition that comes in. I'm not. Like, I was never anti-Levy, but I'm certainly like the Lewises. I never had any kind of like love for, but the children, I think they've like blown smoke up everyone's ass, and I think it's worked. I'm rooting for someone else. What's your style on? What's your take on the ownership, my man?
Yeah, I don't like the owners. I think that essentially all the problems stem from the ownership, right? They appoint the sporting director, they appoint the manager, they basically sign off on all the players, right? Either there's not enough autonomy given to these sporting directors, which I think there has been autonomy. I don't think Vivian Lewis knows who Archie Gray is or Mathys Tel. I don't know. I don't think they clearly set a budget and then they tell Johan, you follow this budget, get the players that you need, right? And Johan essentially used that budget to go and spend the money on Mathys Tel and Archie Gray and whatnot. I don't know how I feel about Brooklyn Eric. I know he's a fellow American, but he just seems very out there. Doesn't seem like he's a very like professional person. I don't know where his money is coming from. I know this is gonna sound like a mad take, but I want Qataris, I want Saudis, I want those types.
You want that sort of money, yeah?
Yeah, I want that sort of
obscene money.
Yeah, look, their reasons for doing what they do with City, with all these clubs is evident, right? There's sports washing. They're trying to divert. They're trying to clean up their image, all that. But that's all great. But every ownership has their idiots, right? They're what they do, how they make their money. No government, no country is ever 100% squeaky clean, right? And I think the Epstein files, as you mentioned, kind of.
Yeah.
In that,
I'm only joking about that.
Yeah. So look,
but listen, for what it's worth, Joe Lewis popped up about 48 times. We figured out last night. Yeah. Joe Lewis's name popped up 48 times in the files.
He's a bozo. He's a bozo in himself, right? He's betting against his own currency, right? Like, He's not. He's
no
not
such thing as a clean billionaire.
Yeah. So I want someone who comes in and gives autonomy, puts the money down, and says, "You do the job." I was watching the Newcastle documentary recently. I think they had an Amazon documentary, and wow, like just the way that they were operating. They asked the owner, the PIF CEO, or I believe, or the owner, how much the daily runnings do you do at the club? And he says, nothing. I know nothing about football. I have zero knowledge.
Yeah.
All the football runnings is from Dan Ashworth, who was there at the time. He's doing all the business. He's running the club. I'm just putting the money down. Whatever you need from me.
Yeah, and they're like abdicating. Not abdicating. Abdicating means like stepping away without care. They're delegating responsibility to experts, right? But this is the thing. I had this conversation with Sabah. Do you know Sabah? So I had this conversation with Sabah, and I think Sabah's got a good point with this, and I tend to agree with him, which is it doesn't really matter whether or not Brooklyn Eric puts in 1.5 billion or the Lewis children put in 100 million or 300 million. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, if you're all giving it to the same donuts, and the donuts that don't know how to profile players end up saying, like, let's be honest, right? We already paid 10 million officially. We paid 10 million euros more than we needed to for Conor Gallagher.
Yeah,
that's a fact. That's in the detail. And then we already tried to overpay for Semenyo, but we couldn't get that one done. So like we're profiling players that we think will come to us, but they won't because they'll go somewhere else. And the players that will come to us, we're overpaying for them. So it doesn't take a hell of a lot of like nous to do that. You could do that, Sam. I could do that. What we're really looking for is someone to come in that has gravitas, that has, obscene respect and talent, and you just know that what they're doing, what they've done before, if they could template that and bring it to Tottenham, they could make us into the next thing. And that for me requires a certain caliber, but it's not necessarily the manager.
Yeah,
it's the DOF.
Yeah,
and I think that requires a, someone like the geezer who's currently in charge of Austria, who would bring with him someone like Nagelsmann. I can't. My mind's gone blank on who the person is I'm thinking of.
Or Campos.
Or Campos at PSG would be something like that, or Paul Mitchell Paul Mitchell that was Tottenham is currently out of work. You give that sort of, you give someone like those guys the money, the reins, because I don't think anyone in the Tottenham fan base trusts Johan Lang.
No, 100%. I think Johan is just out of his depth. I think just a very uninspiring person just to listen to. Hasn't really identified any top class starting players. I think he's had some good youngsters, but how can Johan Lange bring in youngsters at 20, 19 years old, and then they're having to be starting and put in week in and week out performances? That's not how you do it. You settle the 11, right? And then you can bring in a couple youngsters, bed them in, and then you push on, right? He's done the complete opposite. It's like he's gone with get the kids in, and then we can bring in the more experienced players. I don't know. Very uninspiring. I think there's a lot of work to do. Obviously, I wouldn't advocate for getting 9 players in the summer. You can't do that. I think it just causes too much disruption, causes too much chaos. But they have to go big. 5, 6 players. Frank has been left in a very tough position as another manager, of Tottenham. 2 permanent signings in the summer. Brought in Kolomwani, who again, bozo. Very, very uninspiring player. Just doesn't even look like he wants to be here. At least with Palhinha, Palhinha's at least, he's done a good job.
You sign that man on a permanent.
100%. And even he's probably even thinking like, I need to play well to be signed on a permanent signing, right? Kolomwani's there on a straight loan. He doesn't care. Like, okay, whatever. I flop at Tottenham. I have enough name behind my back. I'll get a Juventus. I'll get a AC Milan. I'll get a Napoli. And then I'll forget about Tottenham. Who cares, right? There's no incentive for Kolomwani to do well for us. There's no incentive. People were calling in for Mathys Tel to play. Oh my God. Comes in 15, 20 minutes of absolute shocking performance. Just all over the place. Can't take on his man. Can't shoot. Just so.
Yeah, the game was done though by the time he came. Literally within 30 seconds of him being on the pitch, it was 2-0.
They scored, yeah.
And, listen, maybe I've got a little bit of like people think I've got a thing against Romero, and they also accuse me of having a thing for Mathys Tel. I genuinely do think that Mathys Tel is a good player. I think he's been done dirty. But yeah, today, him and Moani and everyone else, when they came on, they did nothing. But literally, as soon as they came on, the game was finished. It was 2-0 as a competition.
What's the excuse anymore for Romero? Romero has had, 4 managers now? He's done the same bozo things under each manager. What's the excuse?
Yeah,
what are the
excuses? On Romero. Romero is. I wish I was around on Monday. I've got plans on Monday because the Spurs 5 is Monday night. I said I can't make Spurs 5 because I got plans, but I'm going to cancel my plans just so I can come on and bury certain people that have defended Romero. Listen, Sam. Listen, mate. I've got to let you go, buddy. I love you to pieces, man. I've got one more person to come in, Johnny. But mate, listen. Please DM me. Please DM me on Twitter or on Instagram. Find me, DM me, mate. I'll bring you on for the panel show this week because you've been a fantastic guest, mate. 100%. Appreciate you very much, man.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, Sam. Love you, man. Take care.
Bye.
See you, buddy. Big up to Sam. What a debut from him. And we got one last guest. He's out in Miami. Let's see if he can work it out. My man, Johnny. Can you hear us, Johnny?
Can't hear you now, Sean.
You can't hear me?
Don't know what happened. I could hear you all the way through until just now.
Can you come back in again? Come back in. Go out and come back in.
Go out and come back in.
Well, poor old Johnny. If it's not a fucking echo, if it's not an echo, it's something. It's something. Let's get the super chats done. Eamon O'Shea, big up to you. By the way, Eamon, you might have thought I was mental the other day when I was calling out your super chat. I was saying, mate, it was nice of you to message me on Twitter, and blah, blah. It wasn't you that was messaging me; it was someone else, mate. So if you thought that was weird, then that explains it. He says, "Do we have enough players for Newcastle game?" Let's see if Johnny can hear us. Johnny, can you hear us now?
Yeah, can hear you.
There he is. Good to see you, mate. Let me just quickly do these ones, mate. Eamon O'Shea, big up to you, Eamon. Thank you very much. He says, do we have enough players for the Newcastle game? Kuti should not be the captain of this club, and West Ham just won 2-0. Yeah, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. I'm going to get Johnny's take on this in just a second. Look at Johnny. He's having the time of his life. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's got a nice little tan. He don't care about Tottenham. He's in Miami. Big up to you, Eamon. And Stephen J. Cam, big up to you, Stephen, says, my points prediction after next 5 games, Spurs 34 points, Palace 34 points, Forest 33, Leeds 33, West Ham 28. Still just 6 points. Squeaky bum time for sure. I haven't even looked at those games, mate. I'm going to look at them later. Big up to you, Stephen. Thank you very much, mate. I hope that's not true. And Sparky Spur, big up to you, mate. Sparkies. Thank you very much, mate. Super chat from you. Choo choo to you, buddy. Choo choo to you. Appreciate all of you guys. Appreciate you all. Johnny, mate, did you watch the game?
Of course I did, mate. I stupidly woke up at 6 stupid o'clock.
You lost weight. You've lost weight out there.
Mate, no, I haven't. But listen, I actually thought we played really well, Sean, the first 30 minutes. And I thought I definitely, despite all the shit that I've been getting, I don't really care. I think we're improving. We're not getting it in the results. And that's what counts, right? But the actual transitions, the link-up play between Xavi Simons and some of the players look good. But come on. I mean, Cuti Romero, I've defended him and I've tried to stand up for him. But, you know, six red cards. You've had 9 red cards in your entire football career, and 6 of them have been at Spurs. Couple that with all the yellows, then the injuries, then the outbursts. Yeah, no, I'm afraid, you know, it's probably time to say sayonara. I mean, you know, when you're calling out the ball.
Apparently Stel was on We Are Tottenham TV saying it wasn't Romero. Romero was bang on. It wasn't a red card, and Thomas Frank's responsible.
Yeah, fucking news. Honestly, mate, the geezer's a fucking numpty. Honestly,
what are we doing here? What are we doing here, Johnny? Come on now. Listen, Romero ruined our game plan today, correct?
Yes, 100%. And to those that are still going on about Thomas Frank being responsible for the loss today, I don't know what else to say. You know, I thought we played well. I mean, we were unlucky. A last-second goal against West Ham, a last-second goal against Bournemouth. Honestly, you know, I don't know what to say about today. Look, I thought, as I said, I thought we played really, really well for the first 30 minutes. And then when we had to rearrange everything, I thought we looked pretty good. Paulinho was a force in the middle of the park. Tackling Conor Gallagher was pressing and closing down. Micky van der Ven was stepping out. Archie Gray was doing his bit. And Xavi Simons, when he got the ball, he tried to be an outlet. So I was, you know, I went into half time. Listen, I've got to be honest with you. I know I'm maybe again in the minority, but I thought Vicario's footwork for the first goal was quite poor. I know he saw it kind of late, but you got to get this foot. It went in slow. You know, there was at least...
Vicario's walking off that pitch with 14 on-target saves or something like that. Listen, there's no one that there's no one that loves to see Michael Carrick changing the design of football to shoot on sight from 30 yards more than a goalkeeper that's a decent shot stopper. At the end of the day, what mattered was where was your positioning for the 2 goals, and in both scenarios they were poor. I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him at all. I think we had a good game. I think we had a good game because there was a couple of the header from Casemiro was exceptional. The save there, but. You know, let's not look at the shots on target and see that he saved 10 of them or whatever and think that he had a worldie. It was Manchester United's tactic to shoot on target, right? Shoot from distance.
Yeah, 100%. And as I said pre-show, and I think I said on Friday when we did Football Inc. that, you know, Spurs have conceded the third most goals from outside the box, 8. Than any club in the league. Well, we refuse to shoot from outside the box, and Manchester United are the 3rd best from shooting out the box, from outside the box, and that's been ramped up massively since Michael Carrick came in and changed it. And we saw it today. Guys, can we please have shooting from outside the box? Right? That's what football is. Shoot, have a crack. You know, why not? And listen, I thought his footwork was poor for the first goal. Yes, he made some fantastic saves, but I'm talking about overall on the season, right? Too many bozo moments. What about the moment where he passed the ball to their player and got away with it because they were offside? Bruno Fernandes was offside.
Oh yeah. Good point. Great point.
Yeah. And the second goal, yes, he got a hand to it, stronger hand. Look, it's not why we lost. It's not why we lost. So I'm not holding him responsible by any stretch.
No, I'm holding Romero responsible for that.
Correct. And,
can I ask you a question? Do you listen? I think we're both reasonable on Thomas Frank. I know you back Thomas Frank, but you're also reasonable enough to sit there and say, you know what, when he's fucked up, he's fucked up.
Yeah.
I think we both agreed that in the last month that he's been better.
Yeah.
But today, I don't hold him responsible because I think you can't account for going down to 10 men. However, I would say that the first goal was a set piece that we didn't defend appropriately. I know we were down to 10 men, but we left the entire back of the entire edge of the box was like there was nobody from the 6-yard box to the edge of the 18-yard box. Nobody. I think that has to be on. That's a setup. That's a setup issue. And I also think that at times in the second half, when Xavi Simons won the ball back from Casemiro in a duel, and he looked up and Solanke was near him because he'd been part of the press, and so was Conor Gallagher, who I thought was fantastic today.
Yeah.
Pape Sarr and Palhinha stopped at the halfway line, like they used to do, like these players used to do back in November, December. So, and then as soon as I said this on a few different shows, so I don't want to repeat myself, but as soon as the camera pivoted to the manager, he's saying go forward in that scenario. So he recognizes that in that scenario you have to throw more caution to the wind, but clearly they hadn't addressed a previous iteration of the tactic from halftime. So
I think it's a
responsibility for that.
Listen, I think it's a tough ask, mate. You know, you've lost your captain, you've got bugger all options off the bench, and you're trying to balance it out. I thought Dragusin did okay when he came on. I think we were expecting too much. I mean, we're away to Man United, who've turned the corner, 4 wins in a row. I think they scored, what is it now? 6, 8, 10. Is it 12 goals in 4 games? Is it something like that? Or 10 goals in 4 games. And they're looking really, really good. You know, they've just dispatched Manchester City. They've just dispatched Arsenal. And they're looking very good. And, they beat an informed Fulham team as well. And I think going in there with the amount of injuries that we had in an away game and then losing Romero like we did was always going to be an issue. And we got caught out for that first one. It was a good set piece, but we should never have allowed it. There was a lot wrong with it. The marking at the edge of the box was a Vicario not moving his feet quick enough was another issue there. And the second one, look, 81st minute. Look, we were still in that game for 81 minutes, right? We were still in it. A set piece, a free kick. We had a couple of free kicks near the end. A little bit more luck. Something might have happened. But look, I'm loath to criticise the players that actually were on that pitch today, because at the end of the day, I thought they fought well in really difficult circumstances. And I saw a lot of people complaining about the substitutions. There were players on that pitch. He had to take Palhinha off. And I've got to be honest with you, I said to my missus before the game, Oliver's a cunt. He's going to send one of our players off, right? Guaranteed. Could be Romero, could be anyone, but he's definitely sending players off. There'll be dubious yellows. There'll be dubious decisions. I've got to say that yellow card for Palhinha was an absolute joke. It was a brilliant challenge.
It was a joke of a challenge. 100%.
Joke of a challenge. He won the ball. He gets the yellow, and Thomas.
Do you think Tottenham should have got a penalty in the first 15 minutes on Solanke? Just out of curiosity.
You're away at United. The big guns get the decisions. The small fry don't. Michael Oliver, I've lost count
Oliver
how
never
many.
gives us anything, does he? He never gives us.
He never sees anything when it comes to us. It's one of those. It's one of the cops are deafened. So listen, look. Am I happy? No. I mean, look, we are in relegation trouble. We are. The next 3 games, we'll be lucky to field a team. I thought the kid did well when he came on, Sousa, if I'm honest.
I like it.
Yeah, very difficult situation. Destiny injured again. Spence, not sure when he'll be back. The bald, I mean, who's going to mention the fact that Enoch chose to not buy any players to supplement, even on loan? I said
that's not in it necessarily, is it?
Well, we don't know. We don't know what's going on. Well,
that's where we're
structurally.
This is where we're at, right? Tottenham on 29 points. Oh dear. Crystal Palace on 29 points. Leeds on 29 points. Forest on 26 points. And
we ain't
West
winning
Ham.
the next 3. Listen, Newcastle is going to be a tough ask on Tuesday. 100%.
Is that at Tottenham, isn't it?
It is, but look how many injuries we got, Sean. I mean,
I might go to that.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I unfortunately got the flights totally wrong, so I thought I was coming back for the game. But Mrs. booked the wrong day. So I'm actually flying through the Tuesday at kickoff. Tuesday at 5 o'clock kickoff.
Wednesday morning, are you?
So back Wednesday morning, but it's depressing, but I don't know. Everyone's going on about Frank's pragmatic style, and he's the reason. I don't think we were looking pragmatic. I don't think we looked in that first 30 minutes like a team that was only interested in defending. I'm sorry, that's not how I saw it. Maybe others saw it different, but I didn't see a team that came to Old Trafford to defend, despite having all the players that we had out. I'm sorry, I just didn't. What was the general sense of opinion?
I think the general sense of opinion on my watch along, mate, was we were doing well until the red card.
Romero, yeah.
Everybody went, Romero's a bozo. And it's amazing how quick if I was to put out a poll right now, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it on Monday. I'm going to make sure by hook or by crook I'm going to be on that show because I need certain people to be certainly reminded of reality. I think that poll will change, will shift very quickly, right? Just like it did before. When Romero did it before, it was 51%, 49%. Romero's right or wrong. Then it was suddenly 90% Romero's right. All of a sudden, after tomorrow, I think a lot of people now are angry with Romero. And I think that you'll see right now that the pivot will swing back to Romero's a bozo. Because I don't think he has the... I think people are too caught up in the momentary, fluctuations of recency bias. But listen, Johnny, be up to you, my man. Listen, I'll let you go and enjoy your day. You're having a lot more fun than I am, mate. So I'll let you go.
Mate, listen, I'm gutted. I've been in a bad mood. I've been told off twice for being in a shit mood. Just because Spurs lost. I was up.
Mate,
I got up
we're in
at
a
6 in the
relegation
morning,
battle
mate.
now, Johnny. We're in a relegation battle, aren't we?
Listen, this is what YouTubers do, mate. Listen, this is what we're here for, right? We're here for the battles, we're here for the misery, and we're here for the glory. And sometimes you end up with a bit of both. This season, unfortunately, we've got to make do with relegation and winning the Champions League. You can't have it all.
All right, mate. Thanks for coming on, Johnny. Love you, man. Take care, buddy.
See you soon. Bye.
All right, guys. Listen, we're going to leave it there. It's been a long show, long afternoon for me. And I'm going to set up a Romero protest. No, I'm not. But I am going to go and grab some clips. I'm going to go and grab some clips because apparently clipping is the opportunity to mud. And that's what we do. Apparently that's what we do. I don't want to do it, but that's what has to be done, isn't it? So, Monday's going to be fun. Monday is fun day. Guys, listen, we lost the game. We lost the battle. We lost the war. You know where I place my accountability and my responsibility. it's going to be interesting to see how everybody reacts to it. But let me know your thoughts. Big up to everyone. Thank you everyone for the super chats. Thank you everyone for spending the time. Let me know as well in the comment section whether you would rather, because this is the first time that I've done a one-on-one fan phone show like this. Let me know whether you would rather this or would you would rather the usual format where I just bring everybody on and let them go for it. Because they last the same amount of time. But is it better to have one person speak for 10 minutes or whatever, 15 minutes? Let me know. Either way, thanks everybody. Love you all. Tottenham lose. We are in a relegation battle. And yeah, it's pretty scary times. Love you all, guys. Thanks again. Bye.